Right on. Hey now, 9:07. We're just a couple minutes out of here. All right. Good to see you guys. Halenville live Wednesday night, June the 29th, 2022. John Conklin along Charles Greene, Neil Daly. Dudes, what's happening?
What's up, everybody?
How you doing?
It's good to see you all.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
Yeah, it is. It is a lovely day. It's been a lovely week my way so far. Yeah, weather's been good.
Low humidity. It's been nice. Here, anyway.
Good week to take in a Yankees game, huh, John?
No.
Come on.
Oh, that was brutal, man.
I know, but the Yankees have blown past them in the record book right now, so.
It's going to be a Mets town. It's going to be a Mets town again. It's coming.
Just Long Island.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, at some point, I'll tell you guys about the show stadium tour last night. We'll get to that sometime in the future.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to talk about that because I know some other people that went, and I want to hear your take on it.
Didn't rain either. Right on.
No, it did not. Not one single drop of rain hit us when we were there.
Very nice.
I couldn't believe it. And the cloud cover was just completely locked.
Yeah.
Is that Lenny Lou in the chat?
Yeah.
You rock, Lenny. It's so good to see you, sweetheart. We love you.
Let's go to the chat. Lenny Lou, it is so nice to see you.
Yeah, Lenny.
Let's put it out.
There, girl.
Glad you're back.
Yeah. Nice to see her. Right on.
Who else we got in there?
Let's see. There's
Janice
Lala.
Hey, Janice.
Joe Hervey, 84. Joe, what's up, dude? Bo Zeke is here. Keith Campbell. Roll up. Christopher Live Sour, dude.
Christopher.
Andy Carson, what's up, dude?
Andy, how you doing, Andy?
All right, I'm scrolling. Polly Walnuts.
Polly,
yeah, right there.
Yanks.
Yeah, Polly.
Dan in New Jersey.
All rise for the judge.
Dan.
And
man, brother.
Simon Hosford, right on. Nice to see you.
Hey, Simon.
Good to see you,
yeah,
bro.
dude.
Simon.
Sandra is here. Hey, babe.
Hey, Sandra.
Right on. Taylor Greene is here, I see.
Hey, sweetheart.
Hey. Let's see. I'm still yeah, there he is. Andrew's here. Hey, dude.
Hey, Andrew.
Andrew, how you doing,
nice
brother?
to see you.
Hey to you,
Smallmouth guy. Yeah. Nice to see you guys.
Right on.
Andrew.
And Simon.
Adam
Roach is here. Is that right?
Yeah, Adam.
Adam, my brother.
You rock, Adam.
I'm trying to scroll up as fast as I can. All right. let's see. Have I left anyway? If I've left you out,
Ben
Uh,
Thomas
please
in
say
there.
hi.
Shreddy from Everybody Wants Some in the
Oh, yeah.
chat.
Yeah,
Nice.
Good to see you, Joe.
Yeah, nice
Joe?
to
Right
see
on,
you,
Joe.
There,
dude.
brother.
Joe's in there. Ben Tom is in there.
Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
Good to see you, Tommy.
Ryan Hall's in there.
Ryan. Right on, bro.
Ryan.
Welcome.
Quentin
Good
James.
crowd. Good crowd.
Quentin.
Good crowd.
Quentin.
Quentin's
Right there,
in there.
brother.
All
Thomas
right.
Santiago. We sent in. Let's see.
Thomas. Good to see you, brother.
Ed.
Ed Dubrell. It's good to
There
see
he
you,
is.
Ed.
Let's see.
Big Ed. Jesus Ed.
Andy Carson.
What's up, Papa Blue?
Let's see.
Got a good crowd. It's almost like we have a special guest or something.
It's a great crowd.
Speaking of good segue, Neil.
Yeah.
Tony.
Neil, I'm going to let you introduce. It's no secret. We have a special guest that's waiting in the green room. We'll take care of first things first, but we are quite excited about our special guest. So,
Yeah.
Neil, would you do the honor of introducing our very special guest for tonight?
I'd be happy to, and I could go on for a long time about this cool cat, and I'm gonna get into it pretty quick, but I just want to say, people in the chat have probably seen him. You've probably seen his videos that date back years. He's been doing phenomenal covers starting out of his bedroom, going all the way up into posting lots of shows, playing in saloons, and just killing it. He's a lead vocalist and rips on the guitar like our own hero Eddie Van Halen. And he put out a single about maybe less than a year ago called Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll. It was amazing. It was something else. And it encaptures what we all love about music. And he's here tonight because our dear friend Adam Roach had him on recently and passed him over to us. And he's got a new album just about to drop, or that's just dropped. And he's got one of the coolest band logos in the game. So let's give it up for Jacob Deraps.
Right on. There he is.
What's up, guys?
Jacob, dude.
There he is.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Welcome to
Jacob.
Halenville.
Welcome, dude. How you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Excellent. Nice to see you, man.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thanks for taking the time, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, great to have you here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
So-
All right.
So, Jacob, now how long has the album been out? A week or two? A couple of weeks? 2 weeks now?
Yeah, about a week and a half or something. It came out on June 17th. Yeah.
June 17th.
Okay. Yeah.
And so when did you start recording the album?
So this album was recorded on a very, very long timeline, I would say. It wasn't like we went into the studio, did the album, and then got out, and that was it. It was done in our home studios. Me and Josh were the only two people on the album, so we had to work remotely because he was in Australia as well. So it was a long process. We started maybe the first song maybe in 2017 or something. So there's tracks on there that date from all the way back to 2017 and all the way to early 2022. Yeah, early 2022, I would say. Yeah.
So what did you use? Like Pro Tools, and how did you guys do like the basic tracks though? And being that you were thousands of miles away from each other, how did you get that like live feel? How did you do that?
Well, our influences are Van Halen and all these bands, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. So all these bands have a very, very live, organic sound, and this is what I love about music, and this is what we love about music. A very organic, natural, raw kind of sound, and it sounds like a band playing live. So that's something that we really wanted to capture. So I think our approach was really to be very minimalist on the recording. So there's a lot of songs that it's a one take, one track, one guitar track, all the way from the start to the end. A lot of these songs on the album are like that. There's very few overdubs. and it's a very natural production as well, very natural recording process and mixing process as well. It's not over compressed, it's not over polished, it's very raw and very live sounding. So yeah, that's how we got to this type of sound. It's really the influence and as well, working so much to get that kind of sound. We really had to learn, because like I said, we're two people on this album. We did everything. So we did the recording, we did the production, the arrangements of the song, the creating of the songs, and we did the mixing as well. So we did everything, and we had to learn on top of doing it because we've never mixed an album before. At least not on that level. It was a big project.
The quality is outstanding, Jacob.
Yeah,
it's outstanding. If you hadn't told me that you guys did it the way you did it, I would not believe it.
I mean, it's really unreal that we did everything ourselves.
It's the rawness that makes it good.
Yeah, exactly. It's also, we did it with our own resources, our own budgets, and the record company helped a little as well, but mostly it was really done like an independent record, basically. That's basically what it is.
Can I ask you a quick question? In the video, My Side of Town.
Yep.
Where's that shot?
In New York City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a bunch of shots from New York City and live shots as well here from Quebec. But
excellent.
We wanted to capture in that song. We really wanted to capture the city vibes, the dark side and the fun side of the city. So you hear a lot of characters and sounds so it really puts you in this city kind of mood and vibe. So that's really something that we wanted to do with this song. Yeah.
Did it make you a Yankees fan being there?
I don't watch sports, so I can't really tell you about that. Honestly, I have no idea.
No, I'm just playing with you. I'm just digging on John.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you if the Yankees were from New York. I don't even know.
Good. I like you even more now, Jacob.
Right on. Hey, so it's funny. As you kind of led me to my next question too, as in your answer. What were the writing sessions like for this album? Did you guys write cohesively, or did you do most of the writing? And then, I'm aware of how, recording now since the pandemic, kind of a lot of people can record in different locations, but it's hard to have a writing session from over a great distance. So did you guys write together? How did that process work out for most of the album?
Well, most of our songs they come from my demos. So my songs, basically, I always, pick up the guitar, start jamming, do some riffs, and then record. And I write, different riffs for verses, choruses, and pre-choruses, and then solos and everything. And so I had a lot of demos, and I would send that to Josh. And that's how we really started writing songs together. And he would do the lyrics. And then after that, I would rearrange everything into like a proper, full song with the structure and everything. Do some changes in the structure and make it really work together. So that's really how most of the songs were written. There's a few songs as well that I wrote with other people. My friend Van Delore here in Quebec did the lyrics for a couple songs, Live Fast, Die Slow, and On My Mind. And there's another one I wrote with Jesse Bradman, who was a musician in Night Ranger, the band. And so he wrote the lyrics to My Side of Town, and so that's basically it. That's how the songwriting process works. We did a couple songs together. We started a few songs together in the same room, but mostly it was done separately. There's Veins of My Heart that was written differently.
That's a good song. That's a good
was that actually a poem that Josh wrote? Is that true?
Yeah, that's me who I wrote that on a couple on social media. But yeah, it came from a poem. It was a big long poem that he wrote because at the time, it's a love story that he had, and I started reading the poem, and the ideas all came to mind. There was no thinking. I started reading, and I heard the chorus right away.
Wow,
that is so cool.
And I heard the chords as well. It all came together like super quick and easy. Even
That's
though
awesome.
it's not easy to write a song like that, but it was easy to do it because it just it was like lightning in a bottle kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, that was a really fun one. So I basically created the entire song out of this poem that he did, and then we reworked some arrangements and lyrics later, but that was really it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the songwriting process, I would say. Yeah.
I just
Very
find it
cool.
amazing that you guys weren't in the same room for the recording of this, and it just totally feels like a live band in there. It's amazing. If anybody hasn't heard the record yet, definitely listen to it. I mean, the best way to describe it is just high energy, aggressive, fun, good time rock and roll. A lot of major keys. It's not like this dark negative. It's just kind of like pedal to the metal, just fun rock and roll, hard, heavy rock and roll. That's the way I would describe it.
Exactly. It's party rock and roll. It's basically like classic rock music. It's something that we don't really see these days anymore.
Absolutely not. You're right, 100%.
Yeah.
That's why it's so great.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. So, who are some of your influences? We obviously we hear the Eddie in there. We hear there's a lot of boogies on this album. Like everybody loves the Van Halen boogies. Like I'm the One, Hot for Teacher. Jacob loves those, and these guys definitely have a few of those in there to keep everybody happy. But so your Eddie influence. But who else are you influenced by writing and playing?
Yeah, so Stevie Ray Vaughan is a huge influence as well on the blues side of things. Like the song that I did, "Live Fast, Die Slow."
Yeah,
this one is really, really Stevie Ray Vaughan influenced. ZZ Top as well, and AC/DC as well. So AC/DC is a huge influence. Guns N' Roses is a huge influence. Whitesnake as well. Michael Jackson and Toto as well. Big influence on us. Earth, Wind and Fire. So many bands of different styles from the 70s and 80s. I just love all this kind of music. So pop rock, classic rock, funk, all this kind of stuff.
Stevie Wonder, Superstition.
Absolutely, Stevie Wonder, such a great.
By the way, that's one of the very best covers of that song on YouTube, and has been for a long time.
Thanks, I love playing that song. Like
very cool, very cool.
Speaking of covers, so you close the album with a killer cover of Sweet's Ballroom Blitz.
Yep.
And I mean, you got to check it out. I've heard covers of that song before, but I think yours is definitely the best one I've ever heard.
Thanks.
How can you sing and play guitar so well?
Yeah.
And when you have a signature scream, Jacob, it's your very own. You do not sound like anyone else that I can determine when I hear you scream, but your scream
vocals sound
awesome,
really
bro.
good. That really stands out. Yes. Vocals sound awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I don't really.
That's a gift. You got that from your parents, bro. I truly believe that, man. You want to talk about your parents a little bit, because you grew up in like the musical family, man. You were just like at 4 years old. I heard that you would play like beat on. Was it? I don't know if it was actual drums or if it was like pots and pans or whatever. But 4 years old, when your mother would be playing, you'd be beating on them. Is that true?
It was a real drum kit. Yeah, my parents.
No kidding.
I was 4 years old. They bought a drum kit, and I remember I was playing the Stone Temple Pilots song. I think it's Interstate Love song. I was playing that on the drums, and I was doing a couple fills as well that I came up with. I was 4 years old, and I remember that clearly.
Nice.
And, I've always had a very good sense of rhythm and ear. I've never had a problem with picking up a note while singing, or picking up a note on the guitar, or figuring out something sounds wrong. I've never had a problem with that. It was very it was very natural for me to groove on the drums and to sing melodies and stuff like that. So 4 years old, I was playing that, and I didn't really have much interest at the time, because I was 4. I wasn't really conscious of what I was doing at 4, so I didn't have any interest in playing the drums. So eventually, my parents sold the drum kit, and it wasn't until I was 11 years old I picked up the guitar and started playing for real. Yeah.
Jacob, I heard a story that you actually gravitated to, and this is probably garbage, but you get to set the story straight right now. Guitar Hero. Did that influence you to pick up guitar? I heard it, read it somewhere. Is that true or not? Because if it's true, that means that you went from wanting to play Guitar Hero to actually being a guitar hero, which is awesome, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's all true. I was playing the video game when I was a kid. I was always a big gamer. So, and if you see the wheel here as well, I'm still.
I noticed it. I
You
noticed.
dispel the myth then.
I love gaming. So, Guitar Hero, and Rock Band as well was really something I was obsessed with at the time. And not just for the game, but for the music as well, because I grew up listening to great music all the time, in the car, in the house. And my parents are musicians as well. My mom's a classical pianist and jazz saxophonist. My dad's a guitar player. So
is it true that the song "I'm the One" by Van Halen is the song that really gave you an excitement for guitar?
Oh yeah. I remember that moment. I was scrolling down my dad's music library on the computer, and I saw the band Van Halen, and I grew up listening to Van Halen, but at the time, I had been playing guitar for about a year, and I was 12 years old. And I saw Van Halen, and I kind of forgot about Van Halen at the time. So I started playing all these songs, and I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. Like, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. The sound of that guitar and the playing and the tone, it was so distinct and so unique and so far from everything I've heard before. And I was into Metallica and Randy Rhoads at the time. And I love Randy Rhoads, but when I heard Van Halen, that was it. It made me feel something completely different. And when I heard "I'm the One," that groove and that feel and that tone and the way he mixed his lead and rhythm playing together, and his hooks as well. Every fucking thing that he plays is a hook. Yeah. It's always a hook. Like no matter a solo or a rhythm or a riff or something, there's always something very exciting about his playing. And that was it for me. I was obsessed from day one. I was like, I had to learn that song. I had to learn so I learned the entire album actually. And then it was Van Halen 2, and then 1984, and I learned all these albums eventually.
Your version of Spanish Fly, I believe it is, on YouTube.
Yeah.
The way you articulate, the way that you can tap and get the notes to ring out so clearly is inspirational. I remember when you were like, you had to be like 13, 14 years old in the bedroom when you were doing like the videos, like 9 years ago, 10 years ago would be when you did them. Mean Street. I used to watch. You were one of the first guys. See, I'm old, Jacob. And so it was like maybe 14 years ago, I got into like computers. And then by 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, I got to where I was on YouTube and I was looking up guys like you learning to play guitar. And I think you were one of the first 10 or 20 channels that I subscribed to because you had available content at the time that was just great. And the fact that I'm sitting on this show with all my buddies and Jacob Deraps right now is just priceless. It is absolutely priceless. My son Daniel's flipping out because he was with me at that time. We were both learning guitar together. And he said to me, I made this comment. He says, "This kid's kind of cocky." And I said, "Yeah, but look at him play." I said, "This kid plays riffs that I can't even touch." Anyway, the fact that I'm even telling you the story is blowing my mind, bro. Anyway, I'm going to stop fanboying, but you don't know.
He has, long time, dude.
Well, Charles, it's kind of funny though, just to piggyback on what Charles said too. I remember, and this is going back quite a few years, but just typing in the search engine on YouTube, any Van Halen title, guitar cover, and your name popped up all the time. And I think that's when you were immediately on my radar. I'm like, oh my God, this guy covers every Van Halen song you would want to learn to play. And then I'm like, okay, so then, subscribe, and then the rest is history, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I was always, like I said, a huge Van Halen fan, and I when I was younger, so I really wanted to replicate what I was hearing as close as, and even today, if I do a Van Halen cover, it's got to be like perfect. I mean, it's just very fun to do, and I don't know, it's like a passion to me. It's an obsession as well. That guitar sound and that playing is just unmatched, and I just learned every song because I love the music. Such great music as well. I mean,
I think what I'm really most impressed with, though, is that we have a ton of people in our community that are Van Halen cover band players and stuff like that, but surprisingly, not a whole lot of them do original content. Not a whole lot of them do. I'm sure they can. It just doesn't seem like a lot of them do. And the fact that you can take everything that you love about those bands, all the bands you listed and described, and you're making new music. It's almost like those bands that we love are carrying on through people like you.
That was my next point. Exactly, Neil.
Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
there's like a band, Wigwam, is out of like New Zealand or something. Not New Zealand. Somewhere they're in the Peacemaker TV show cover theme song. But they're doing the same kind of thing. It sounds like an 80s band or like Steel Panther, but they're not making a joke of it. They're playing really 80s rock. You're doing the same thing, and it just brings us right back to that sweet spot that we all have, and it's new.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was
and it's great too.
Make something organic. Yeah, make something
absolutely great songs too. Great. What stood out is how great the songs are, the great playing, and the great vocals. Like I said, I love the vocals.
Dude, he does a cover of Highway Star, and he does the scream, man. He does it, and it's fucking spot on, man. It's spot on. It's absolutely spot on, Jacob. Very cool, man. So you cross genres. You'll do everything, and you give it your own vibe, man. Look, I can't wait to see what you produce in the next 10 years. I can't wait.
Let's talk about where we can get this album.
Yeah.
Where can we get this?
Yeah, so the album is available pretty much everywhere. So if you're in the U.S., I don't know what your local stores are, but I would go to your local stores and ask for it. I'm sure it's available for ordering. You can get it through Amazon, merchbar.com as well, which is a great website if you want vinyls, especially.
I was going to ask about vinyl. I'm actually glad that you put a vinyl.
I've got that right here, actually. Look at that.
Oh, that is awesome. Cool.
Let's see the back.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's got a retro vibe, doesn't it, guys?
Oh, it totally does. Totally does, man.
Yeah, and it's fantastic having the vinyl and what's inside as well. It's so fun. It's so exciting. It's much more fun than just the digital content. You have nothing. Physical copies are amazing.
Yes.
I've got the CD here as well, which I ordered from Japan, and this one is different from the one that you can get in the U.S. This one is actually a jewel case, so it's
cool.
a plastic jewel case, and it's got these writings on it, these Japanese things. It's very different, And I've got the regular CD as well, the Digipack one. And it's available everywhere. So check out on Google, check out Deraps, and you're gonna find it for sure. Yeah.
Hey, were there any songs that didn't make the cut? Did you have like final approval over what made the album and the track listing in the order? Was there anything that you left off that you would put on like an import or a B-side?
Actually, no. Well, we had other songs, but they were not fully recorded. They were never fully recorded. So we have other songs that we never finished.
Yeah.
So the songs that you hear on the record, though, every song that we properly recorded and that we finished is on the album. So that's all the material there is at the moment.
So you knew when you were recording that those were the album songs?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah.
So
awesome.
Jacob, what are your touring plans?
So my manager is looking into it right now. We want to be touring in Europe after the summer. So in fall, we want to be touring Europe. We're looking into Japan as well. I know people of Japan, they absolutely love what we do. So it would be a great place to tour. And obviously the U.S. as well. This is a dream. You know, we want to be touring the U.S. So, and we're looking into it. So I will have more details in the future. But at the moment, it's all I can say is I want to be touring. And you know, we want to be touring. We want to be playing shows as much as we can, as many shows as possible. We want to get out there and finally, you know, do our thing.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because, like John touched on earlier, with the sound of the album feels like alive, you know, alive in the room sound. But even your videos kind of capture, you know, everything about you. You seem like the kind of guy that just needs to be playing live. You know, that's
yeah. And you in our live videos as well. You know, it sounds
right.
You know, it's that's what we're meant to be doing together.
You guys have a party band vibe that is.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of Van Halen in many ways.
In a lot of ways, I sit and try to think. They're great songs, but who am I hearing here? I'm hearing these
yeah. There's a lot of influence.
Great
tunes. Pick up on that record for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. That's what's cool about it, because we started watching you when you were like 13 years old or whatever it was.
Sure.
And we've watched you progress up to doing covers now to doing your own original material. And all of those influences that we saw you know, when you were doing covers and stuff, it's part of your DNA now. All these different, you know, it's not just Eddie. There's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
That's right, John. That's a really good point.
You're playing. It's not, you know, it's not just, it's not a one-trick pony. When you listen to the album, you'll see that. When you listen to Elizabeth, on the album, the instrumental, and you know, it's like that to me, that's not like Eddie-ish. It's completely, it's yourself. You know, you created your own.
On your album,
created your own monster now. It's you. It's, you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. That's a great compliment, and that's something that I'm really proud of, and that a lot of people say about the album is that, you know, we have a very unique sound, even though there's a lot of influences. There's unique playing and sound all over the record, and there's a lot of songs that are, you know, completely different from the other songs from each other. So
right.
That's something I think is really good about the album, is that there's a consistent sound to the album, but there's completely different genres all over the album. So if you listen to songs like On My Mind, there's jazz chords in there. It's very pop rock sounding. If you listen to songs like Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, it's obviously very Van Halen boogieing, jazz influenced a little bit as well. Because, you know, Van Halen is very, very much jazz influenced.
Sure.
Like songs like I'm the One, you can really hear that. And
there's a scat to it.
That shuffle beat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and just their groove in general, and the way Eddie plays and Alex as well, it's very, very jazzy. And songs like Live Fast, Die Slow on the record is very bluesy. So there's a lot of genres, but it's consistent. So it has a style and a sound, and that's what I like about it, because it's exactly what they were doing in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. You know, you listen to bands like Led Zeppelin, they don't really have a certain genre, but it's classic rock, and they have a certain style and sound.
Well, here's another compliment. Here's another compliment for you, because a lot of bands on their first record, they don't have that eclectic type of, you know, album. It's a lot of it's all just the same. And luckily they'll get a second and third album. They grow, and then they start to do that. But on your first record, you were able to make it very eclectic across, like you said, not every song. It's like, it's not song one and song two. It's the same song. It's not, you jump all over the place, but at the same time, you have this, a sound, your own unique sound.
Exactly.
Which is pretty mature for someone your age to be able to pull that off on your first record, really, you know?
Yeah, but I grew up in music, and I'm a musician, and I just love, you know, picking up the guitar and playing whatever comes to mind, and it can be anything, you know. It can be I even wrote some more country riffs at some point. I don't remember them, but I can write anything on a guitar, basically. So it's music, but it has a certain sound, you know, with the crank Marshall and the way I play. It has a certain consistency.
No, that's totally true. You know, if you think about it, some of the greatest bands in history were unafraid and unashamed to say that they borrowed elements from all kinds of people to make their own,
Yes.
to make their own sound. So there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
Some do it on keyboard,
So-
some
so-
on acoustic guitar.
Jacob.
You know.
What about your rig there? What did you play on the album? You play the Marshall? What did you play? What do you got back there?
Yeah, so I've got the Germino amp right here. So it's just a stock 68 Marshall Plexi, basically.
Right.
And my Music Man guitar, I don't have it with me here, but my Music Man Axis.
Yeah.
So that's all the way through the record.
Mhm.
And
So the whole record's done with one guitar.
there's one song that I used the Music Man Stingray. You've seen this one in the videos. I think it's in Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. The blue guitar, the blue Music Man
Yes.
guitar.
Yes.
So that's 2 guitars on the entire album, and obviously the acoustic one as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Hey, speaking of that, of the instruments and stuff, when you go out and play now, suppose you get booked to a tour. Are you going to go out as a 3-piece? Would you add? You wouldn't add a 4th?
No, I would go as a 3-piece band. Yeah, for sure. I just love the sound of just drums, guitar, and bass. It's very clear, very live, and it's very punchy. You can hear the guitar a lot. The guitar is loud and clear and just right in your face. That's the kind of sound that I love. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Van Halen, all these guys that I listen to always have guitarists.
It's your signature sound.
I got the vision. I got the impression, like when I was listening to the record, that I could see what your vision was, because, like you said, none of the songs had many overdubs and things like that. So everything that you hear on the record, you can pretty much pull off live. You can do that. So I think in your own mind, probably in the back of your head, you had that saying, well, this is how I want to do it. I want to do a 3-piece live. I want to do everything the way we're playing it on the record, that live kind of vibe with the 3 of us. That's how I want to go on the road. You know, keeps it more simple that way too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's guitar-based music, and I think it's the best setup for this kind of music. To hear the guitar loud and clear, and it's very live sounding.
Yeah, I think we're just not used to seeing somebody play the guitar like you and singing too. That's why we're used to seeing 4 pieces.
No,
where the singer was a standalone.
That's
right. I said it last week, Jacob. I compared you to John Sykes. I did.
Right.
Because you play guitar and sing very much like
great.
him.
He's a great.
That's kind of the vibe I get when I see you do it.
Yeah.
More so than Eddie, because Eddie didn't so much play and sing guitar. Play guitar and sing like that. Yeah.
Well, it's also cheaper for you to go out on the road. Then you guys get more of a cut of the money.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a plus, and as well, you don't get to argue with your singers. So that's
you can't fire yourself, Jacob.
Yeah,
exactly.
For those watching, if you click the link down below in the description, you can hear songs off this album. You can go there and hear Veins of My Heart. Awesome song. Great vocals, dude. Great vocals, man.
Thanks.
Love them.
Song's got a great vibe.
Man.
That song was at the time when we were producing it, I thought it was really, it needed to be a big production 80s kind of song, with the stereo guitars and the overdubs and everything. So that one was really, how would I say that? There was no limit for that song. I didn't really limit myself in the production side of it, but it's still doable live though. It's still doable, but it's a big song, and I just thought, well, might as well just go all in on this song, because it was really meant to be like
Is
this.
Veins of My Heart the song where before your lead solo it has that part? Let me see if I can get this right.
Yeah, it has a bridge.
It says like, ladies and gentlemen, for your I present to you our featured presentation. Is that what it says?
That's Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll.
Oh yeah. My bad.
Yeah, Veins of My Heart is the one with the big solo, and the bridge has got a smooth, very slow paced bridge. It's just a love song as well.
That sounds like it should be your next single to me. That song.
Veins in My Heart.
Yeah,
that was the last single we released.
well, there you go. See?
Yeah.
Good call, John.
A little late, but anyway, Jacob. People in the chat want to know about your pedal board. What you got going on? What are you using for pedals?
I don't use any on most of the record.
There you go, folks. No
Is it true that the video you did on your Brown Sound that is like that's your gig and that's what you do?
That's the guitar right there. Well, any guitar and the amp just plugged straight in and cranked up. And
I didn't believe you when I saw that. The first time I saw that video, you were talking. Actually, I think you spoke about it on a video before you did that video. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But the thing that was so cool about it is I didn't believe you when you said that. I said, this guy's tone is just too cool. And I just knew you had a pedal board down there. I know what you've got is just a really great amp and a great guitar and really good fingers, man.
Yeah. What
Really
we got
fingers.
a question. We got a question. What gauge picks do you use, dude?
What kind of picks?
Yeah.
So just Jazz 3s.
Jazz 3s.
Jim Dunlop Jazz 3s. Yeah.
1.5 millimeter?
That's a good question. I think so. Or I think it's 1 millimeter. Is it one?
Okay.
Just regular ones, the red and the black ones. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's
Nice.
it. So, what else did I want to ask you? So,
Hey, Dwight.
are you constantly writing for your you're ready
Hey, Boone,
working
try
on
that.
ideas for the next one, or you have some? Obviously, you said you had some stuff left over that you never finished for your. I'm sure you're gonna be planning record number 2 at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brendan.
We're planning on it, but we're not working on it right now. And honestly, these days I've been doing basically everything else but music because I've been doing so much interviews and PR stuff, promo for the album, and when I work on videos as well, always on the computer and editing videos and mixing stuff. So it's just a lot of everything except music. But I find myself playing guitar, here and there all the time, and just jamming on the guitar. So writing new riffs and stuff. So I have a bank full of riffs and solos and licks and interesting stuff. And I have demos as well, which are not completed. But definitely enough material for another album for sure.
Very cool.
Just get ready though, because you're gonna get big enough where the record label is gonna handcuff you and say, nope, you can't put out another album yet because we have to milk this one as much as we can.
Yeah. Well, I think we can do another album in well, I don't want to say too soon because I want to take the time to enjoy that one. But I think maybe in the next year, maybe in the next 2 years or something, we can yeah.
So I guess you're gonna, by the time the fall comes around, after doing all this promotion and everything for the record, you're really going to be just ready to go play it live for sure. You're going to be pumped, I guess, for that. That's
That's the one thing that we want to do, and then once we get off the tour, we can start working on the next one. But there's no pressure for that yet at all. We're really right into the release of that one. So because it's been a week, so yeah.
So, well, anybody in the chat have any questions for Jacob? Throw them up there right now.
Yeah.
And
Bring 'em on.
we'll pick through it here, and let me see if there's any that we should.
Hey, it goes without saying, Jacob, you make it anywhere close to North Carolina, me and Tony will change the course of our lives to make that show, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
You're in North Carolina, is that it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys know, but Greg Germino, I think he's in North Carolina as well. The one who makes these amps, the Germino amps.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, check out Germino Amplification.
Where is he at in North Carolina?
Yeah, he's in North Carolina. Yeah.
Okay.
Right on the border, I think.
Okay.
Almost to Virginia, just on the top of the state.
There's a town. I think it's called Saxapaha. Is that it?
Yeah.
So He lives in there. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Very
okay.
cool.
He's all
That's
making
half an hour away.
these amplifiers. They're all handmade at his shop there at his house. So yeah, check out Germino Amplification. It's worth it, and they're great amps.
Germino,
That's
you
super
say?
cool. That is super cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's totally
We
local to
will.
us. How did you hook up with that? Because how long have you been using that amp? It's been a minute. It's been a bit, right?
I've been using it since 2016, I think. Yeah, 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, it was my dream amp. You know, I wanted a Marshall Plexi, but I wanted a classic 68 Marshall Plexi, and I was looking up all these amps and all these amp builders, and I came across Germino, and there were comparisons between Marshall Plexis and Germino, and that was exactly it. So I really wanted this amp, so I contacted Greg and asked him if he wanted to sponsor me, and he agreed, and he sent me that amp.
That is awesome.
That's really, because he really loved my live stuff. He loved the playing, and he agreed to sponsor me because of it.
I'm sure that was a really short conversation. when you called him and said, "Hey, you want to sponsor me?" I bet he was like, "Yep."
Yeah, it was. I've never talked to the guy. It was an email. It was an email, actually. So yeah, it was really short.
He was blown away, man.
I bet it was short.
But my dad met him. He went in North Carolina at some point, and he met him at his shop, and he saw his shop and everything. Such a great guy, and you know, a big supporter of me, and he did a lot for me. So that cabinet as well. This is a Germino cabinet, and I got it from him. He sent that to me as well. So really big support from.
Is that stock the way we could buy it off the shelf today?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's stock. Those are they're greenbacks reissuing there, and this is just a regular Germino Lead 55. It's called. So
cool.
Lead 55. It's a 50-watt Plexi.
That's
cool.
awesome. Hey, when you go out on the road and do a tour, let's say you got like a 12, 15 show tour, well, how many guitars are you going to take with you?
Probably 3 or 4, like not that many. I don't need that many. I like to play with just one guitar.
Yeah. So you don't do alternate tunings or kind of.
Yeah, you get used to a guitar after maybe like, I don't know, if you're playing for like 30 minutes and then you switch guitar and then you lose that kind of feel that you have with that guitar.
How long have you had that one axis?
2016 no. 2015, I think.
2015.
So, yeah, so like 7 years. Yeah.
Let's put this back up on the screen from
The
Jeff
dynamic
K.
of your sound, your tone, and it's more than your tone, it's the dynamic of your sound. I can't think of any other way to say it. Changed about 7-8 years ago when you incorporated that guitar and that amplifier. I don't know what the time span was between the two, but
yeah, but I became a much better guitar player as well. At a certain time, I remember that there's a certain time where I really evolved as a guitar player.
Did the gear help enhance it at all? It had to, I guess. Imagine it was an extra tool for you. You have really great gear.
Well, the gear always influences your playing. So if I find myself playing a certain guitar and I find myself playing like a Super Strat or a Les Paul or just a regular Strat, my playing is going to change a little bit.
Sure.
But it's not drastic. But it definitely influences the songwriting, the style of playing as well, and the sound.
Interesting.
But,
yeah, no, that's true. I know people that have said before their attack changes with the weight of a guitar. If you go from a light Strat to a heavy mahogany Les Paul, all of a sudden, on back-to-back songs, it's drastic.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as when I was maybe 17 years old or something, I think I just really grew as a player because it was kind of, I would say, prime time for me to grow as a player. You know, I was getting older, getting better, having more influences from different styles of music. So it was really a natural progress.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, man. I'm blown away and fascinated by the fact that you basically don't use any pedals. You have an amp and a guitar, and you play. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have them. But I mean, it's just so foreign to modern musicians nowadays. We'll have a pedal rig of like 15 pedals on a board. And
you know what that means? That means his tone lies in his hands too, guys.
No, it's so old school. So it's cool. Very classic.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh yeah, absolutely, and definitely the hands. They're definitely a big part of the tone. Just the way you play, the way you attack, and the way you pinch those strings, differently. There's just a lot into the tone that has to do with the hands for sure. Yeah.
Well, you have a very aggressive attack. That's
I call it brutal.
It's brutal. Yeah, well, everybody says influenced by Eddie and stuff like that. To me, that's one of the most influential parts of Eddie that I hear in your playing is like on the Van Halen 1 album. He was very aggressive with it. You heard a lot of players like that. Like I always say Nuno Betancourt, the first couple Extreme albums, he was just very aggressive. His playing, you could tell he was influenced by Eddie. It was just it's the hands, man. It was just like the attacking those strings.
It's in his core, John. It's in his DNA, dude. That's what it is.
It's very punchy. I just love that.
Yeah, exactly. So we got some questions here. Let's start taking these questions here. Christopher Live Sour, do you have any double necks, 7 or 12 string guitars?
I do not. I would love to have a 12 string though. I don't have a 7 or a double neck. A double neck would be interesting. I'm not really interested in the 7 string though. It's not really. I don't know, not my style of music. So.
All right, and Jeff K wants to know, says, hey, Jacob, I contacted you a while back about lessons. Are you still doing that, or are you back on the road now? Been following you since the Dweezil video days. Love your playing, brother.
I still do lessons sometimes. I don't know if by what platform he contacted me, but if you want to book a lesson, send me an email at derapsofficial@gmail.com. So, yeah.
And Gretch Zeppelin wants to know, what racing sim do you play?
I love so right now. I love the new GT7. I love the new GT7. It's a great game. And Assetto Corsa, I think, is the holy grail of sim racer. I haven't tried iRacing, but I think Assetto Corsa really nails the feel of a car. It's fantastic. If you guys haven't tried sim racing, if you're into racing, it's amazing. It's very addictive.
Well, there you go.
That is so cool.
Christopher wants to know, does Deraps have a nickname like George Lynch?
No. No. No.
Hey, who designed your band logo? Because I think that is just so bitchin'.
Thank you so much. It's my girlfriend who did that.
Really?
Yeah. My girlfriend is a very good artist, visual artist.
Yeah.
She came up with the logo out of nowhere. I told her, can you do a logo for me? And she started drawing something, and she worked on it a little bit, and then she drew the smile as a joke because it was supposed to be the S. So at first there was no S here, so it was kind of just like that.
So
was
the smile was the S, right?
And she drew a smile in it as a joke, and then we saw that, and we were like, wait, that's it. That's the icon. That's instantly recognizable.
Yep,
definitely.
That's what we needed, and that was it. That's how the logo was designed. And
well, give her props, man. Give her props because it's got a cool element. I mean, it's got a little bit of like Hot Wheels cars, a little bit of like Saturday morning cartoons. It's got a whole bunch of this stuff, which kind of, and then when you hear the music, the logo fits. You're like, oh yeah, I get it.
It's fun and it's 70s style and it's very cartoonish as well. Yeah, I think it's a great logo as well. And she designed the My Side of Town logo as well, the Sex, Drug, and Rock and Roll logo as well. So most of the band logos, she designs all of that.
In the videos, yeah.
All right, so we got a couple more questions. So you got Hip Metalwork says Assetto is very real feeling. So you got some race sim fans in here too. And I know I saw Simon in there too. Simon, what do you say? I'm totally into the F1 sim on PlayStation. Amazing.
Love that. Yeah, F1.
Hello, Chris Hunter.
Love that. Yeah.
And then
saw a question by my friend
Francois.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The frets on my Music Man. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. So I got my Music Man Axis refretted. I had the guitar for like 2 years, and they were just regular nickel frets, and that was my main guitar. So I played it every day, many hours a day, and I just really play hard and dig into the frets. And after, I think it was 2 years, maybe even less than that, and it was completely done. The frets were completely done. So I did a road trip with my buddy William, my bass player, just for fun. We went all the way across Canada, and then down the West Coast, and then in California, and I met the people at Ernie Ball, which I'm sponsored by Ernie Ball, so they agreed to. I left my guitar there. They agreed to change the frets, and I got stainless steel frets on the guitar now. And stainless steel frets are known to never wear. They don't wear, basically.
But you're wearing them, aren't you? You are wearing them, or you're going through strings faster.
The second fret is always the one that wears faster. I don't know why. Well, for me, at least, it's always the one that really wears faster. And you can actually see a little ding in there on the stainless steel frets. So it's pretty crazy, but it's still like 100 times better than nickel frets. It's really, there's no comparisons. This thing really holds up great. So yeah.
Did you notice any kind of a tone difference between changing from nickel to?
I haven't. Yeah, I didn't really compare like back to back. I think the guitar.
You would have heard it though. You'd have heard it.
There's one thing I noticed. It's on the playing though. It feels a little bit slightier and better, basically.
For bends and stuff.
Yeah, it's a little bit slightier than nickel. Yeah. Nickel tends to get a little bit rough at some point.
Well, because the stainless steel is such a harder material, the strings are bouncing off of it, and it's changing the way the guitar responds. There's got to be some kind of a difference.
The strings wear out faster as well. So the strings.
Yeah, the way you play, geez, man, you blow those things apart.
Oh yeah. These strings, they always break. I always break strings all the time. So I'm glad I'm sponsored by Ernie Ball Music Man.
You got to talk to him.
Oh yeah.
So when you were there, did you get to tour around the facility and everything?
Yeah. I did a full tour of the factory where they make the guitar, and it's such a great experience. And they have a lounge as well, like a lounge upstairs, and like a music room with guitars hanging on the wall and amplifiers everywhere, and you can try stuff. And there were a lot of goodies like strings and hats and a bunch of accessories. And I got to go home with like a bunch of stuff I just grabbed.
Great swag.
So they gave you swag?
Awesome.
I got a couple of hats and stuff like that. So it was really cool. It was really
Hey,
nice.
what gauge strings do you play?
Super slinkies, I think.
942.
942.
Yeah.
That's like the pink package, right? I think it's like pink, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I've got those here too somewhere.
Yeah. So you see, you got to tour the place there, I guess, and you got to meet some of the people that work there, and
Yeah. The guy that takes care of all the artists, he's a great guy, fantastic guy, and it was just a lot of fun and great experience. And they're great people, a great company, and I'm really proud of everything they did for me. They really helped a lot, so that's awesome.
That's cool.
Awesome. Yeah, and they do. They make great. Everybody knows that they're just the quality of the Music Man stuff is second to none. It really is.
There's something very special about these guitars. I think I didn't see them as this before, but now that I play the guitars and I've tried a couple, I can really say that they have a style of their own.
Yeah.
When you pick up a Music Man guitar, it feels different. The neck is completely different. The sound is different. There's something different about these guitars. Like, when you pick up a Gibson, a Fender, well, a Music Man, I can say that they're up there. They have their own style. And it's the same with EVH guitars as well. I really love these guitars. I think EVH the Wolfgangs are absolutely fantastic, very unique guitars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The whatever music, man, just I mean, every one of those guitars, the necks are just incredible. Just the finish on the guitars, everything about them is just.
It's like perfect. If you want a perfect instrument, that's a perfect instrument. Sometimes I don't really want a perfect instrument, so it depends on what I'm playing. And sometimes, you pick up a guitar and it's not perfect and it just feels right.
Yeah.
So it always depends on what you feel when you play the guitar. It's really a personal feeling, a personal connection with the guitar, I think.
Yeah,
Definitely, without a doubt. Trying to see if we have any other questions here in the chat. Let's see. Anybody got any more questions? Throw them in there. Let's see.
Oh, I would like to know how did you connect with Toto? And that's one of the best. Rosanna is one of the best videos on YouTube. Absolutely. In my opinion.
That's a great one, Charles. That's
I think that interaction between you and Steve Lukather is absolutely priceless. And Tell us about that, Jacob.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are amazing. They're great people. And so that night was the first time that I've ever met with Josh Gallagher in person, my drummer, because he's from Australia. And that was the very first time that he flew all the way from Australia to Quebec. And we bought tickets. We had VIP tickets, meet and greet tickets to see Toto in Montreal. So we picked him up at the airport, drove to the show. We got there for the sound check, and we got to see them play the sound check. And we asked them if we could come up and do a song with them. So they agreed. We got up on stage.
Really?
Oh
my goodness!
You just asked them.
You did the impossible. Is what you did. Now I gotta ask you.
They're great guys. So we got up on stage, did Rosanna, and that was actually the first time that I've ever played with my drummer, Josh Gallagher, for real.
Wow!
So he was the drums, the guitars. That was the first time we played together. So it was really, really a highlight in our career for sure. Yeah.
That's some awesome insider info on that video, dude. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's
okay, so I gotta know. What did Steve whisper to you in your ear when he came up and hugged you when you were blistering that solo? And
he just loved it. I can't remember exactly. He said something like "great job." I don't remember exactly, but he was really. He told me something, and I remember that he was grateful, and he was how would I say that? Impressed that I learned that thing note for note. So that was something that he enjoyed. I think is that I took the time to learn this thing. He said I'm honored or something that you.
The look on his face, Jacob, was priceless. It was priceless.
He really loved it.
I think that's just one of my favorite videos you have.
Yeah, I agree. That's
a great video. And the one with Dweezil Zappa as well. That's a great video as well.
That's the other one. Yeah.
Dweezil's a fantastic guy, and I'm grateful for everything he did for me. He helped a lot as well, and he's a fantastic human being.
Yeah, he is.
A great musician as well. So that's awesome.
That is so
we have a question on the screen. I think our friend Holly Lewis is asking how old you are, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically the question. So I'm 25. So yes, I know life without social media and phones, and I remember life without social media and phones as well. There's good and bad. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's there's a lot to say about that. But yeah, it is what it is. So
sure.
Yeah. Your dead giveaway was earlier in the interview when you said that you were going through your dad's Van Halen collection on the computer.
Yeah,
that was the dead giveaway.
That's right.
It's not like you're pulling 8 tracks out.
Yeah, no, exactly. No. I've always had computers, so that's definitely something. I learned guitar playing with YouTube a lot, but I've had books as well. My dad had a bunch of guitars, and he had a lot of these magazines from the 80s, you know, Guitar World magazines and all this stuff that he used to buy back then. And so I learned, I'm self-taught, by the way. So everyone who's asking, I'm self-taught. So I just, everything I do. So singing as well, playing guitar. I always looked up.
Mixing the album.
Is it true that Josh Gallagher is also self-taught?
Josh, yeah, definitely self-taught as well. Yeah.
Josh is in the chat right now.
One thing I want to point out as well, because I saw the comment.
Yeah.
From Josh.
Welcome, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah, he looked at her. Yeah, he heard the album. He said it was great. So that's really that's awesome because they're still in touch as well. So yeah, Josh and me, we're basically a two-man army, and I just can't believe what we did. It's really unreal.
That's very impressive, guys.
Because at some point in the mixing process, it was getting so discouraging and tough. We were thinking, you know, can we actually do this, or is it not going to work? Because it was really, really a tough, long, and learning process, and we had to overcome that level. You know, when you reach a certain point where you say, okay, that's it. Now I understand what's going on there. Now I understand
what's next.
To mix properly, the song, what it takes to make this album sound right. So at some point, it was a breakthrough, but it was really a pain in the ass sometimes. But yeah, we're self-taught, and
very cool.
Josh as well did an incredible mixing the album because he made the entire album by himself with you know my input and going back and forth between the mixes.
Did you have anybody? Was there anybody from the record label over your shoulder during the mixing? Did you have to send like rough mixes to anybody to approve?
No. I did show my manager a bunch of mixes, you know, to get some input from outside, because at some point, you know, when you hear the song for like 100 times.
Oh, I know. Yeah. You're in a bubble. You
can't fucking hear anything. You're like, okay, it sounds great. What can I do to? So you have to take a break. You have to take a break and get back to it fresh. And also, Josh did all of our music videos by himself.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He did all of them by himself?
Oh, yeah. All of the music videos. So basically, Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, My Side of Town.
Look, those videos are not amateur looking at all. If you didn't tell me that he did those videos, I would never have guessed it, because they are very professional.
Oh, yeah. Live Fast, Die Slow as well. All these videos, they're all done by himself. He's excellent at what he's doing. It's really crazy that he's doing it. He's self-taught, and you know, he doesn't have a degree in videography or stuff like that. He really just, you know.
You guys are prodigies.
Wow.
Yeah,
you guys.
I actually was just thinking, you know, when Holly was asking the question about did you know life before cell phones and stuff like that, and you know, you're saying, well, you know, we all have, you know, different like opinions and things on that technology and stuff, but this is a case where technology was great, because technology sometimes is bad, that sucks, but the fact that technology allowed you and Josh to connect, and you know what? And the new way that albums are being made now is like this, thousands of miles away, but you're able to create something that you sound like you're in the same room. And you guys are so locked in. It's just like you said, the first time you played together live, you jumped up on stage with Toto. I mean, no pressure, right, buddy? No pressure, right?
It worked, yeah. And I remember as well the first jam that we did in our basement, and that was it. You know, I felt like I found my music brother. You know, it just really connected on every level. You know, we were jamming all kinds of stuff, and it always works. Sometimes we play similar things without really planning anything. It just really connects musically. So that awesome. Yeah, it's great for that. You know, the internet, that we actually got to meet like that. Because you know, I think we were really meant to be together as musicians for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely. That is so cool.
That is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Josh can jump in, but he's welcome to jump in if we can send him a link. He can come and say hello to everybody here.
I'll send him and see if I don't know.
Absolutely.
If we can, I know Sandra mentioned it. Yeah.
We can get him one.
we get him a link. Let's see if Josh can jump in and he can talk about his equipment too, and and give a little bit of his point of view about the album. So if Josh, if you're up for it and you're anywhere where you can,
I just sent him the link. I don't know if he didn't see it yet. But anyway,
if he sees it, click on. Tony will take care of it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably not prepared. He looks like shit, and he's like, "Nah, I don't want to do it."
You mean just like a rock star? How cool is that, man?
Right?
Yeah.
No worries. We'll be on a while longer.
Yeah,
Take
but
your
it is
time.
pretty amazing that that. I mean, I'm just blown away. I didn't even realize it until you were talking about it, that you guys weren't in the same, on the same continent really when you recorded this stuff. It's just like
nice.
It's just unbelievable to me.
It's really
how locked in you guys were. How locked in. It just seems like you're live in a room, just like jamming together like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, did you have to do did you do like rough guitar tracks to a click track and then send him and have him dub the drums over? I mean, how do you do that?
Yes, that was basically it. So he would do the drum tracks over a demo, and then I would do the actual guitar track afterwards.
Gotcha.
I played the bass on the record as well, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that, but I'm
Nice.
the one who played the bass on the record.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah. When you said you guys, the two of you did everything, I figured you played all the string instruments and everything like that. I mean, all the vocal tracks. I mean, there's layered tracks on it. You really, I mean, it's pretty impressive the fact that you guys did all this. Just really, the two of you basically did all of this, correct? I mean, that's what you said.
Exactly. Yeah, we're two people on this album, so yeah.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing, and I mean, if anybody, like I said, if you haven't heard the record yet, put it on, and you're gonna be like, "There's no way that these guys, it wasn't a band live in the room jamming." It's just like, and then when you realize that they're like, thousands of miles away, it's incredible how locked in these guys are, and I mean, obviously on the little demos and stuff that you would send them stuff,
Yeah, links are down in the description, and you can listen to the single right now too.
Yeah, that's one of the things that blows me away the most. Learning that tonight is that, I mean, that's incredible, because I just assumed you guys were live in a room just because that's what it sounds like. You know what I mean?
At some point we want to be doing that, but the circumstances and because we're from the opposite sides of the world, so it's kind of hard to plan stuff like that. But
hey, well, it works. It worked on this record. It completely worked.
I'm really proud, and we love the sound and the vibe and the feel. It's just very, very natural, classic rock style sounding, very organic and authentic. That's what we were looking after, and that's what this is. Yeah.
Hey, Jacob, now that you've got real quick. Jacob, now that you've got this completed version of songs from the album versions that you've been living with for such a long time, do you ever go back and listen to the demos that you started with and think, "Wow, I can't believe where the song went"? Or are they all pretty much true to your originals?
Yeah, there's definitely there's definitely a lot of changes, arrangements and the vocals and everything. So the demos are really, really rough demos. The songs are better in every way possible, obviously. Yeah. But when I do demos, I don't really care. I want to just, lay down a structure, figure out, the structure of the song, the main, like the foundation. And then after that, we can, once we're doing the real song, we can really tweak everything and make sure it's perfect, as a song. Yeah.
I think what you should do, though, because this is just popular right now, it's trendy. I think someday you should end up either having a fan club, an exclusive fan club, or a Patreon page or something where people can get access to the exclusive content, which are like your horrible demos from 5 years ago.
Yeah. But I don't really want people to hear that, and that's but it's not horrible. But it's just that all these years people have been writing comments about why don't you put original music out and everything. I've always been writing music, but I'm not just going to throw everything I have at you guys. It has to be quality material. I love great music. I want to put out great music as well. And any band in the world has shitty demos, because that's how music is. Of course. And that's how music is created. But yeah, now you guys finally have the original material, so that's good. Yeah.
Excellent.
So Joe wanted to know in the chat, how did you and Josh meet?
So we met through YouTube. I was doing Van Halen covers. I was maybe, I don't know, maybe 15 years old or something. And Josh was doing Van Halen covers as well, drum covers with his brother, Luke. And he asked me if I wanted to do a collaboration on the song "Girl Gone Bad" by Van Halen. And
Right.
I looked up his videos, and I was like, yeah, that's great. You sound great. Let's do this. So we did. That was the first video that we ever did. That one, I didn't film this one, so I just did the audio track for him. And it's actually still on his YouTube channel. So "Girl Gone Bad" by Van Halen. And after that, we started doing a bunch of covers. "Loss of Control," "On Fire" as well. A bunch of Van Halen stuff, and that's where really it all started. And it wasn't until like 2017 when I asked him if he wanted to join me in Quebec for some shows here, and he agreed. So he flew all the way, and that was when we played with Toto as well, and we did a bunch of shows, and that was really the first time that we met. Yeah, so yeah, that's how we met. Yeah.
That is so cool.
That is
right
cool.
on. So,
so that's a good question. As a musician, does Deraps like to go see other bands play, and who? Yeah, so I saw Van Halen myself when I was 16 years old for my 16th birthday. My dad took me to their concert in Montreal, and it was such an amazing moment for me. I remember the time that I saw Eddie coming from backstage, and I saw him in the room, and for me that was really the moment that really touched me the most. When I saw the guy, and I was like, he's right there in front of me in the same room, standing in the same room. That's the man. That's the real guy. And that was it for me. I will always remember that. And of course, all the great songs, "Hot for Teacher," "Unchained," and I remember certain moments. I think it was Romeo Delight. He was playing that, and he started headbanging, and I remember his hair. He had long hair at the time, and just fantastic show. I remember that it was awesome.
And that was their final show ever in Montreal too. That was the final time they ever played there, I believe.
That's right. They never came back. Yeah, they never came back. There was a lot of people, and that was a great show. Fantastic show. Yeah. I still have a shirt, and my dad still has the tickets for that show.
That is so cool.
And I saw Steel Panther as well, which were hilarious. That's such a fantastic band. I think just a very, very cool live act to see, because it's
they're fun.
Very funny, and I saw them in a small room, and it was absolutely packed, like completely packed. They had to close the doors, and there was like thousands of people waiting. They couldn't get in. Yeah, it was a fantastic show as well. I saw AC/DC as well. I would say that's the greatest show I've ever seen in my life. AC/DC, greatest live show ever. Just sheer power. What I love about them is that they do it just like back in the 70s. Cranked Marshalls, very, very loud, very, very aggressive sounding guitar, very punchy, and you hear the guitar. Finally, it's not a band that you go see and you can't hear the guitar. There's a lot of stuff these days where I think you can't hear the guitar enough. All you hear is the bass.
Yeah.
I just hate that. It happened when I saw Lynyrd Skynyrd. All I could hear was the bass. There was so much bass at the Lynyrd Skynyrd show that it strangled me here. I could feel it in my neck. I was like, holy shit, who the hell mixes that way? There's like 20 subs all in front of the stage, all lined up, and all you can hear is the bass. I think that's absolutely crazy. Yeah, so AC/DC, just an amazing show. If anyone has the chance to see them once, that's really, really, I think it's as good as it gets as a rock and roll show. I saw The Who. I saw Journey the Doobie Brothers. You know, I saw a lot of acts. Yeah.
Right on.
That
So,
is awesome.
dude, let's bring him in. There he is.
And he's
Josh, what's
Top
up?
of the
Dude.
morning to you.
Welcome to Halenville,
Get me
Josh.
some better lighting on here. What's going on?
Yeah, he's been waiting a moment back there. How you doing,
Yeah.
dude? Welcome.
Yeah, I'm good. I was just eating breakfast. I think it's like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock here.
Right
Yeah.
on.
eating breakfast.
You're a music video star, man.
Yeah, dude.
So
Yeah.
Josh, I'll ask you a couple questions about the album. So did you record? Where did you record all your drum parts? In your house there?
Yeah, I recorded most of the tracks up in Kalamunda in the hills in Perth.
Okay.
At my parents' place. And then I think Ballroom Blitz was recorded in another place that I was in, but it was in a garage. And on that one, I used an Australian like solid log snare drum, which has got this really super rich tone. And in the garage at the time, it was kind of like a man cave. So it had like a couch and all this storage stuff that was kind of soaking up the concrete sound. So you got that like live, loud garage sound, but it was a bit like a bit more respectable for like the recording purposes.
A little bit more studio like with the damping.
Yeah, it's a little bit dampened, so it wasn't like, you know, when you jam in a garage, it's just loud concrete, like harsh, but it was kind of like dampened, so it had this nice controlled sound, but it still had like a nuclear kind of excitement to the sound. You can really hear that on like the snare drum in that song. Pops like a firecracker. It's crazy.
There. That's right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I usually have like 2 room mics out that captures that extra ambience.
Yeah.
So did you find the whole process of recording? I mean, across continents, how was it? Did you find it easy? I mean, it's just amazing the technology. We were just, I don't know if you heard us.
Yeah.
We were just saying about how incredible it sounds like you guys are live together in the same room. You're so locked in. It sounds. I can't believe it. I'm like that's
Your sound is huge, man. It's huge.
It's just the way you guys. That was the thing that blew my mind the most tonight. Is after listening to the record for the last 4 or 5 days, and now finding out that you guys weren't even on the same on the other side of the planet from each other. And it's just, it blows my mind that it sounds so live and it sounds like so like cohesive. It doesn't sound like a studio tracked out. It just sounds like a live band.
Listen
like
to the
playing.
single, links down below.
Yeah, the links down below for this.
Bring it in another window. Awesome.
So, but did you find it
the way we recorded that? I think the drumming part, like the playing part for Jacob and I, is always, it's like second nature because we've been doing videos for so long. Like I've done videos with my brother and like friends and with Jacob, and he's been doing the same. So it's like the playing part, like playing to a click or playing to like, if like the Van Halen covers, I'd play to the recording and I'd lay down the drum track and then I'd send that to Jacob. But like with the album, I think the majority of it, I think some of the early tracks that we cut, I think I might have done like by memory, just to a click. So it's just like drums by the memory of the guitar arrangement. Yeah,
that's right.
So I think that was like live fast, fuck off, my side of town. There might have been Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll.
Yes, as
and
well.
then the other ones that we did we kind of co-wrote together. So Jacob would send me like a guitar track to a click, and then I'd play to that, and then send him the drum track, and then he'd track the guitar for real. Because most of the time it was like a demo track that he did with Did you use a UAD amp? Didn't you?
On most of the demos, I used this small, the Marshall there on most of the demos.
Oh yeah.
The later ones, I used a simulator for the demos. Yeah.
It's just incredible that how natural it sounds and how real it's. It's just like I would think that would have been like just a complete pain in the ass trying to do. But I guess not. I mean, it's pretty commonplace now, right?
Yeah.
Well,
the playing part is natural for us, but the recording that's good, and like all the little arrangement stuff but the mixing process was a pain in the ass. I can say that.
Exactly.
Jacob can agree.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was really tough.
I think you touched on it earlier, how like I think because it's like over such a long period of time, maybe like 5 years ago, we weren't as good at like the video production and the music production, and so like the drum tracks and the guitar tracks were from back then, but then we re-record vocals and change the arrangement a bit, and like as well hearing the mix 5 years ago of like Live Fast Die Slow, and then having to mix it as our abilities like grew, and like our knowledge of all the mixing techniques and like using analog simulated like plugins and hardware. It's just like trying to get it from that, like trying to wipe it out of your brain, the old sound to the new sound. And like there's probably some of the tracks we remixed like 6 or 7 times. So I think Live Fast.
You've been doing it a while.
Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll was remixed a lot. Yeah. Just to bring it up to that level that we really wanted to get to. Yeah.
Yeah, we were comparing to other music that we listened to, and we were really trying to achieve something professional, and that's what we wanted to do. Have having the right sonics, and hearing everything clearly, and having a punchy mix. It's just something that came with a lot of experimenting and trial and error. So and I was really never happy with the mixes because they didn't sound right until at some point we understood what to do to make it sound right, and that was it. It clicked at some point. And it's not just that as well, but as a singer you improve a lot, especially I started singing, I was like 16 years old or something, and I started recording certain songs, the vocals, when I was maybe 17 or 18 or something. So I hadn't been singing for long, and until recently I became a much better singer. So I would listen to the vocal tracks and I would be like, holy shit, that sucks. I gotta redo them. And it didn't really suck, but it wasn't the way I wanted it to be, and it wasn't as professional and as good as it could be. So I had to re-record some stuff, and the same on the bass as well. Bass is something that is very, you have to think like a bass player to write a bass track. Yeah. And it's something that I improved over time as well. And with my guitar playing as well, I got better. I became a better guitar player, became a better bass player. So I re-recorded some bass tracks as well to make it more funky, more groovy, and just suit the songs better. So that was really just, the entire album was basically trial and error and a big learning process. And that was it. That's what you guys hear on the album, is the years of improving and hard work and learning that we went through. Basically, that's all it is. Yeah.
Hey, did you guys have going through, because I've done the same thing with demos and then trying to mix them properly and everything. Did you guys have like a specific album in your head as a template for what you were trying to match sonically?
Yeah, that's a great question.
We had a few. Yeah, we had a few. So I would always go back to
Fair Warning was one of them.
Fair Warning, Back in Black.
That's a good one to have a template of. Yeah,
not a bad.
That's a good sounding album. Yeah.
Back in Black. Yeah.
Van Halen 1 as well, and AC/DC Back in Black as well. I think is one of the greatest sounding albums of all time.
Yeah.
And Van Halen 1 as well, for the sheer power of the guitar sound and the clarity in the mix. There's something about it. The sonics are so great. It's just, we were trying to really mix the album so that when you hear it, you think, okay, it fits. It's as good as these records,
right?
Because sometimes we would have shitty mixes in the early stages, and we thought they sounded good, and you go back, you listen to like I don't know, Back in Black or something, and then you go back to the song, and it's like, wait, it sounds poor a little bit.
Yeah, I've gone through the same thing. You're like, why does mine sound differently? I don't understand. And then that's the most frustrating thing about that was when you know it's a good song and you can't mix it right.
It's really about reaching a certain standard, and that's the hardest part, is to reach that standard.
Yeah,
I have a hunch that someday they're
also,
gonna. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I was going to say, I was listening to a lot of around the time when we started getting the mixes sounding the way we wanted to, like we reached that breakthrough point. I was listening to a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire, like the I Am album. It's just like, it's so clear, and you can hear all like the analog saturation, and there's so much instrumentation, but everything fits really well. And I was also listening to Journey's Greatest Hits Live, you know, the one with Budokan.
That is a great album.
Yeah, like just the sound of the drums, like the saturation and like the separation. It's got this nuclear kind of energy to it. So I was listening to a lot of that as well as like the Van Halen stuff and AC/DC, and just trying to get that exact. I think I was listening to the If You Want Blood AC/DC album as well.
Love that song.
The live one.
Yeah.
Oh, the album. Yeah.
And like just trying to capture that same really like live energy, and that like it's like a kind of animalistic sound to it, but also trying to get the dynamic range of like the Earth, Wind and Fire stuff and Toto and all that, like the super hi-fi but organic. Oh, and I was listening to Zeppelin's Song Remains the Same and the way the West was won. Those two live albums as well. I really love that live sound there.
Yeah. And it was something as well we were trying to replicate. I remember, because we were talking about that before. You remember the live videos that we were mixing, that you were mixing, the like live at La Reserve or Jack's Saloon, and we would listen on the sound system, and it would sound great. And when we were mixing the album, we would go back to that and try to get that kind of energy and sound, and it was tougher because it was. You know, it was more polished, more studio. So you're trying to do something that's, it's just very hard to replicate. It was but it was something that we would go back to as well.
And it was really weird as well, because those live videos, I think I mixed those when I was in Quebec. So like we just done the show, and we recorded it to this little Boss BR 1600. And then I remember like getting the tracks. I was living at Williams at the time, the bass player. And I remember I mixed that whole thing on headphones in like, I think it was a night or something. And it just sounded so like insane. I remember like, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I ran upstairs and like, I went to William. I was like, you gotta hear this. It's just nuts. And he came and listened. I've got this video of him just like flipping out like, holy shit. And then I showed Jacob as well, and he was like losing it. So it's weird because that was done in like a few hours, whereas the album was done over such a long time, and those mixes like trying to, I think maybe overthinking it a little bit.
I'll be
as
right
well,
back
and just trying to
grab more tea.
Trying to catch that live kind of vibe. It was hard to capture it.
Yeah,
but
it's
I think
harder.
we did it on the album, which is good.
Yeah, harder to mix as well, because you know the live stuff.
You get bleed as well.
Yeah.
And you get like the guitar. Like on the album, we kind of did the Zeppelin Van Halen thing with like the one guitar on the left, reverb on the right, and maybe a bit of room sound and stuff. But like on the Van Halen Zeppelin stuff, they usually did it live, so you'd get guitar bleeding through the drum mics, like the overheads, and you'd have a little bit. So you wouldn't just get the guitar on the left, you get a little bit bleeding throughout, and it's kind of like a room sound. Whereas when we do it online, you don't have. Kind of. It's just pure. Yeah, you get a little bit of surround sound in the stereo field. So and live, like at our live shows, we get that because Jacob's playing. Sorry?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish what you're saying. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but I was going to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like at the live show, Jacob will be playing his 50-watt Plexi dimes. So it's just like, it's so loud. But in the drum mics, it's weird. Like you stand in front of that amp, it's kind of like this channel, this like rectangle channel of sound. You walk past it, get to about here, and you just get like overwhelmed by this like wall. It's like this Plexi channel, and you just get like assaulted, and like everything just hits you.
Yeah, it's very,
It's like
very
a channel, especially outdoor. If you do outdoor shows,
Yeah.
it's like this linear kind of channel, and you get to it, and it's just like it just salts you. But like from behind the drums, it's actually it's not that loud. It's really strange, but you still get the bleed coming through the mics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob and I always we always laugh in the videos. Sometimes you see these drunk people, and they're just like their head. You got like the PA speaker, and we're screaming like Back in Black or Highway Star or something, and like you got these people just standing there like tripping out of their mind, and they're standing in front of this dimed plexi from like this far away, and this speaker is just blowing their ears off, and we're like, these guys are permanently deaf for the rest of their lives.
I remember certain people when we were playing. I think it was L'Antibar in Quebec City, and there was people standing right in front of the amplifier because they loved the tone and they wanted to hear the guitar. So just like head straight into the amp, like cranked up Marshall plexi all the way up. It's just insanely loud, and the entire night. My friends, they always come see us play as well when we do local gigs here, and they message me afterwards, and they're like, dude, my ears are ringing like crazy, and it's been like 3 fucking days, so it's still ringing like hell. It's but it's part of the experience as well, though, that we play very loud, and it's very, very like in the 70s, very aggressive and organic and very loud and a lot of energy. It's punchy, and the guitar chords, they really punch you in the chest, and they're so overwhelming, and it's part of the experience. People love to come see us play, especially we attract a lot of young people, which is great because young people they don't really know a lot about this style of music, but when they see it live, they really love it because it's like they discover it for the first time, and at that volume and with that power, is just something that they go wild, and they get drunk and party with us, and
thank you for that too, us old guys, for carrying the torch to. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah,
that's awesome. And but this when you listen to this album, it's a Saturday night, and you're listening to a new. Who is this? Black and Blue? Is this new? Who is this? It's somebody.
Yeah.
That's what you hear. It's straight from the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah, I think as well.
What are each of your current favorite?
Yeah, got a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, each of your current favorite songs right now on the album. I know it changes, but what are your current favorites that you guys
do? I don't know.
I'm really enjoying Wild.
Wild to the Woman, yeah.
Wild to the Woman. Yeah. I think that really, I listened to the album and it's got all these influences, but when I hear that one song, I think that song really encapsulates us as a live band. It's got this raw, wild, animalistic, kind of sexy vibe about it, but it's got this groove to it, and it's kind of danceable, but it's also got the AC/DC, Unleashed kind of thing. It's got a bit of the Guns N' Roses kind of sleazy stuff. And I think just the overall sound of that, it's very aggressive. And you listen, a lot of the songs are very aggressive. You listen to Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll, but they've also got a bit of a jazzy kind of thing, or On My Mind's a bit more poppy, Latin kind of stuff. You've got Fuck Off, which is very thrash. It's almost like a Megadeth Motorhead kind of blend. But then, you hear Wild, and it just really sounds like I listen to it, and it reminds me of all the live shows that we did, and it's got that same kind of. I think that one really is Deraps as a live band in a studio environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I love the song as well. I listened to the album today, and I was hooked on that song too today. But as far as favorite songs, I couldn't really tell you. I don't know. It's hard to. I don't know. I just love all the songs. I can't tell you which one I prefer. It changes all the time, and I don't know.
It's cool.
Do you
Yeah.
look back on any of them and say,
I played.
we should have done this different or we should have done that?
No. No, I think there's so much work into this album, and I don't think we could have done anything any better than that. I think that's really it. That's
In stone.
Good
Yeah.
for you. Good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's partly. I think that's partly the reason why the album, like, we took so long to mix it and everything. We really wanted to have our first album like stand up to all of our like heroes' first albums.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah,
because we were
exactly,
kind of a two-man army, we didn't want to second guess it. We really wanted it to be like something that we look back in years and look at it and be like, that was the best we could do at that point in time. And like,
Josh, your
it
video
still holds up. Like,
go ahead, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
what was I saying?
I was going to say that your video skills are so impressive. And where did they come
Thank you.
from?
Thanks a lot.
Where did they come from?
Well,
Jacob was telling us that you created all those videos, and that's a miracle. They look like they're professionally made.
I initially started like video production. I remember, what song is that? Anyone want to hear music?
The trivia music.
It's the trivia music.
We'll get there.
I initially started video production when it was around the same time I started playing drums, but it was more like with my cousin and my brother. We were doing like kind of parody videos and like special effects videos. We had like old camcorders still with a tape in it, and we do stuff like jumping off playgrounds and reversing it, so it looks like you're flying, but you don't get it in the shot. Oh, that like this old school like filming stuff. So I can probably credit that to my cousin and my brother for like introducing me into the filmmaking kind of stuff. And then when I started doing my YouTube videos, I'd be using the same kind of camera, just doing that without like soundboard audio, so just be cam audio, which back on those old, they weren't old, they were like DV cameras. Gotcha. The mics would just be too sensitive for the drums, and you have like kind of distortion. And then so I'd upgrade to like a mixer, then an interface, and then like a full recording rig. But yeah, I've always been like a big lover of like film. Like I'm a big like sci-fi fantasy, like Lord of the Rings and stuff. And I've always loved that film look, the 35mm film grain and like the Super 8 stuff. Like my girlfriend at the moment, she bought a Super 8 recently, and just like getting to shoot through the lens and like hearing the film roll and everything. So when we did Live Fast, I kind of wanted to replicate like the Super 8mm film look. That's why it's got the border is kind of like the 70s look. And I wanted to, because obviously we don't have one in the band yet. Obviously, when we go on tour, I'll probably look into like buying a Super 8 one and taking it on the road. But yeah, I was just trying to replicate the film look for everything, because it's the same thing as the music. Like when we did the album, we came from like the digital world of everything just being transparent and super clean and pristine, and then listening to all of our favorite albums and being like, how do they get, like, it's the same amp, like you've got Eddie's guitar, the same amp, same like kind of playing, and we're always like, how does he get this sound? It's like we use this SM57 mic, and like we hear like Jacob's thing, you hear Eddie's, it's like, how do they get that extra thing that's like the saturation of analog gear? Like Eddie was running through, was it the 610 preamps, and then he'd use compressors and all the stuff. Like he wouldn't use that in his guitar rig, but like Don Landy and Ted Templeman would be running it through this stuff when they mix it. So it's like the same thing of trying to capture all that extra juice, that analog sound. So we delved into the world of plugins, which is like, it's like digital emulators for like all the old tape machines and compressors and everything, and they all have a certain color and sound to it. And it's the same thing with the video, that I was trying to get like the film thing. I found these film overlays. It's like the grain overlay that you can put on top of the video and like kind of like blend it into the digital footage, so you don't have crispy, pristine, clean thing, but you get
You
more.
can
of the
relic
film
your
look
own video.
that you see in all
You
like.
can even get the one hair
Yeah.
that's like floating in the sun.
Yeah. I did that. I had like an emulator that was generating specs and stuff. And
Yes.
I didn't want it to look like most people would kind of chuck a filter on it, and it would just look like a very stereotypical kind of that's a filter trying to emulate old thing. I didn't want it to look like that. I wanted to look like when you watch like EE&S live at Wembley or something where it's been restored in 4K. And it's like it's really got that HD look, but you can see the film grain, you see little specks every now and then.
Sure.
So I'd generate that in, and I'd change it for each clip. So sometimes if I see too much of the specs, I'm like, obviously in like movies that have been restored, they don't look like that. They've been like cleaned up. So I wanted to get that kind of thing. But like a song like "Live Fast" in that music video, I really wanted to go just full like old school 8mm kind of look to it. Yeah.
Very cool.
So everybody check out the videos too,
cool.
if you haven't seen them.
They're outstanding. They're absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the both of you. I was telling Jacob. I was telling Jacob before that I remember my first memories of him were just a kid in his bedroom playing Mean Street. That's one of the first videos I remember him playing. And I remember seeing the two of you in one of the first videos you guys did. And the fact that we're all sitting here talking to you two is just priceless. It's absolutely priceless. I said it before. I wish you and Jacob, the next decade of music we get out of you guys, I hope it goes beyond that, but the next decade is going to be priceless. Absolutely priceless.
It's very impressive what you guys have achieved already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, just the fact that you've completed an album is that's a big deal, man. It's very cool. So
well, but
guys,
also too, the quality, the songs are awesome.
Yeah.
The playing is and the story that goes with this, the collaboration here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, and it's our kind of music, and a lot of people watching, a lot of people in the chat. If you haven't clicked over there and gave it a listen, you are going to love it. It sounds like what we love.
Exactly.
Yeah, watch your YouTube numbers go up tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah.
That works. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So Tony, you want to hit the trivia? Let's do that real quick.
Yeah, let's do some trivia. All right, so we're going to be playing for
Sweet.
a fair warning pass. We'll play for the pink one, and these are cool from the fair warning tour. I think I got a good one.
He's got a good one.
It may take you a while, but so if you're the winner, there's an email down below among the other links. Check them out, and these guys' links also. But if you're the winner, trivia winners, email me your name and address. I'll mail you out that fair warning pass in the morning. I will. So here's the question. Good luck.
Good luck, you guys.
All right. Here we go. So Van Halen trivia.
Are we answering this,
tonight.
or is it the?
No, don't answer. Don't answer. This is for the chat to answer.
Okay.
This is trivia. We didn't bring you, Josh. You came in late. We're doing trivia right now for the chat.
Yeah.
You won't get it anyway. You won't
Josh will
get it.
know the answer to this, and he'll just give it like that, Tony.
They might, John.
What show did you guys first play live at?
Now, here we go. Van Halen trivia for June 29th, 2022. Good luck. Email me your stuff if you're the winner. Bam. The 1980 World Invasion Tour was also called what? You know, like kind of like the what did we do? The Hide Your Sheet tour was called something else. Keith can't play. Keith ain't gonna get this one. Keith can play.
Keith is awesome.
Keith can always play.
By the way,
But I don't think he's gonna get this one, by the way.
Jacob and Josh, we have the absolute best people in the chat on this show. They are priceless fans.
Yeah, that's great. You guys have been great. Yeah. That's awesome.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, it didn't fall far, guys. Oh my goodness.
There it is.
Right on, sweetheart. You did good.
Is that
There you
it?
go.
That's my daughter, you guys.
Is that the answer?
Yes.
That
Yes.
is indeed the answer.
I didn't know.
That
Right there.
that is in fact
I didn't know.
the answer.
That's
Very cool.
Party Till You Die.
Party
Very cool.
till you
Hey,
die tour.
that could be the name of our tour.
There you go.
There you go. Right
That's
on.
good.
We
That's
named
good.
it
You
tonight.
heard it here first.
Thank you. Right on.
I like that. Yeah.
So
you
Charles,
guys need a name for your tour. There you go. Come on.
there you go. We named it for you. Thank you. So
Yeah.
Charles,
Been
I
about
have a
first and last
plan.
tour.
No, first of
Yeah.
many. First of many. Yeah, but so congratulations, Taylor Greene. Charles, what I'll do, I'm due to send you a package soon. New
That's funny,
guitar
Tony, because
picks.
I'm due to send you a package soon too.
That's right.
And
We'll
Dan
send
from
each
New Jersey.
other. We'll send each other packages.
Great.
But so when I send you, I'm gonna send Taylor her
Very
pass
cool.
in your stuff. So two
That's
birds,
wonderful. That is wonderful.
Awesome.
Very
two
cool.
birds, one stone. Right.
Very cool.
All right, congratulations, man. They're quick. I thought man, every week I think they're never gonna get this. They're
No, these
never
people are
gonna get
rockers,
this.
man. They are absolute rockers. Best chat on YouTube. Best chat on YouTube.
And
Love
they
it.
prove us wrong. All right.
Wow, that's cool.
All right.
So I just want one more question for Josh. So what's your drum setup like? What do you got?
Good question.
Obviously, I'm in love with all the big double bass drum Fortress Alex Van Halen. If I could have like 8 bass drums, I'd probably have 8. But at the moment, I'm running like a Tama Superstar. So I got 2 kicks, I got 2 racks, 2 floors. I got octobans, 2 clear octobans that I actually built with my dad. We made them out of like it's just like 6-inch outside diameter acrylic, and then just drilled the holes, bought the hardware from Tama and stuff. I used those in the album. I think it's My Side, Veins in My Heart, and Make You Groove at the start, kind of the little jungly kind of thing. And then I'm using like pasty cymbals. And then I think I recorded the album with like Shure microphones. Yeah, but I'm a big fan of using like Simon Phillips, Alex Van Halen, Tommy Ulrich, the big like double kick setup. And then in Canada, the kit that I use it with when I play live with Jacob is just a Mapex. I think it's a G series or something. It's like a silver sparkle. Same setup, but without the extra bass drum.
When you were talking about the double kicks, you talking about 28-inch oversized double kicks like a John Bonham size, or?
No, I think mine are 22 by 18.
I got you.
Just a standard. They're a little bit longer than like the 70 stuff. More like kind of, I think it's more like a Lars Ulrich kind of depth bass drum.
Okay. Both the same size or
and
offset?
then for snares, yeah, both same size.
Gotcha.
And I also run all my drums live, so there's no dampening. The only dampening that I used would have been on Boring Blitz. I put a little bit of tape on the snare because that snare drum, one of my friends here, he builds these solid log snares. So like with snare drums, you've got plywood, which is the normal way. Then you've got a block or stave, which is where they kind of glue like an octagon of blocks together and shave off the edges. And then you've got steam bent, which is just a single bent steam with a join. But he's doing like a hollowing out solid log drum, so just out of like a tree trunk. So that takes ages to like, you have to, I think it's like 3 years to dry, and like a lot of woods are unstable, so they'll either shrink too much or they'll expand too much, or they might crack because they're not able to hold that shape. But that one is so it's a PA Love Tone, he's called, his company. And that's a 14 by 6.5 Maori drum, which is, eucalyptus. Yeah, so that's a eucalyptus tree in Australia, Maori. But that
eucalyptus is a very hard
super,
wood when it cures.
Yeah, they're super dense and super hard. So that one, it had just a tiny bit too much ring, because it's obviously like a dense wood. You get more ring. It's more like a metal shell because it's so dense. So I put just a tiny bit of tape on that, and then all the other songs in the album I used 1980 Tama Rosewood, which is the same snare that Alex used on Fair Warning to, I think, Balance.
Right. He was using it.
So you see, so you see that if you look on the Live Without a Net video, the shots from behind, you can see that snare. Right. It's kind of got the big dampening thing. I'll grab it. Give me a sec.
Yeah, please.
Excellent. Jacob, talk about your bass player. Steve Carmichael wants to know, how did you meet your bass player and where is he from?
So my bass player is my longtime friend from high school. His name is William LeChance, and so we kind of grew up, well since high school together. So he's from here.
Were you jamming before you guys started collaborating?
A little bit, but like acoustic guitar, because he was a guitar player before he was a bass player. So we were playing a lot of acoustic guitar, jamming some stuff, and we still do, sometimes. And I just asked him if he wanted to join us, me and Josh, for some shows in 2017 on the bass guitar, and he agreed. So that's how it started. Yeah, between us. Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen, I really apologize. Somebody outside is shooting fireworks off. You guys and overseas don't have to worry about that, but here we do. So I got to take the dogs. I got to calm them down for a little bit. So I'm going to bounce out really quick. If I don't catch you guys before you're done tonight, pleasure meeting you, and we'll do this again, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, I'll see you
guys. I'll be back in a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Jacob, Josh. Such a pleasure meeting you guys.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, pleasure.
All right, Josh, you want to show us your the snare?
So I was going to say, so if you look on Live Without a Net, you can see this thing, this big round thing. You can see it. I think it's from the back shot, but that's actually, it's like an old school internal muffling thing. So that's you spin this thing, and it
dampens.
So it dampens it a bit.
Excellent.
But this is one of the. It's not Alex's model, obviously, but it's one of them that I found on eBay, like 2016.
Is that 9 inches deep? How deep is that snare? 7 or 9 inches?
6.5. Is it?
Oh, this one's just 6.5. Yeah.
6.5. Okay.
14 by 6.5.
Yeah.
So it's made in Japan. It's the 1980 model. It's the first one that they did. I got this for, I think it was $900, which is a steal, because it's like it looks basically brand new. There's like no pitting or anything. It's a tiny bit. But I was like, no scratches, nothing. It's like a satin finish.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And it has the old school, like I bypassed these rollers because it's got the old school snares that, like, all the new snares kind of stop here with the wires. But the old school ones would come out to about here, and then you'd use this roller but I bypassed it because I think the wire was a little bit overstretched over the years, so it wasn't wasn't always sitting like flush. It was kind of on an angle like that.
I gotcha.
So you get a bit more buzz. So I just chucked one of the regular ones on. And I think I might have used on some songs, I might have used the dampener a tiny bit, just like the slightest bit. But I think songs like Wild and Make You Groove, I think I had those just live because I wanted to get a bit more of a kind of firecracker sound to come out of it.
Your tones are
Is that internal thing widely known? We all knew about the tape with Alex and getting that sound, but I never knew that about the internal. My goodness.
Yeah.
Because I always wondered about that as well, because you see Alex using the tape thing a lot, but with the muffler you can kind of get the same sound. Obviously with tape you maybe you get a bit more ring because it's just on the head, nothing's touching the head. But I mean, with that, if you put the dampener on half, if you put it on full, it's too choked. But if you put it on half, you kind of get the same sound that Alex has with like the tape thing. So yeah, I always wondered why he didn't just.
How
use
long
the muffler,
had he been using that?
That was, I think, the Fair Warning tour was the first time he used it, because the first 3 albums kind of have like a different kind of snare sound than all the 80s albums and the 90s stuff, when it kind of he really got that brown sound going.
That's awesome.
Because you listen to like Women and Children first, and it's got a very snappy metal sound because he was using a Ludwig Super Sensitive or the Super Phonic, one of the two, which is, I think that's a John Bonham snare drum.
Yeah, Super Phonic, on the
which
first
is funny because it's like Alex. Yeah, because like Alex was like in love with John Bonham sound, and then I'm in love with Alex Van Halen sound. So it's like keeping the generational brown sounds.
Keith Campbell.
That's awesome.
Keith Campbell in the chat wanted to know about your mic placements and how do you mic? Are you particular about where and how far away, etc.?
Oh yeah, very. Over the years, I've always experimented, like obviously trying to, like with the covers, trying to get, like replicate those sounds and trying to hear the difference that a mic from like the snare drum. If it's super close, you get a bit more bass, you get a bit of, like it becomes a bit more sensitive and overloads the mic a bit. And if you go further back, you get more of like an open sound and stuff. But I'm not about miking super close. I kind of like to have a bit of distance and capture more of an organic sound. Because if like, especially on the toms, if you put a mic really close, you get like a plasticky kind of sound, like you really hear the head. Whereas if you go back a bit, you get a bit more of an open, jungly kind of natural sound. So that it'd usually be about maybe this far back on the drums. The bass drum, I'd have a microphone in the sound hole. And on the bass drum, I just have... Actually, no, on this album, I ran the bass drums completely live. So I had no muffling at all on this whole thing. But most of the time, for like other genres, I'll have just a rolled up towel against the batter head, like how Simon Phillips does it. And then the overheads would just be two matched pair condensers,
Hey, Jerry.
Hi-hat mic, and then out front I'd have 2 room mic condensers. And I think, Jacob's just using a SM57 on the guitar. She can tell you about the mic placement.
Yeah. So just 57 and as close as possible to the grill cloth, and just well placed, not like centered, but it just depends. You move it around and try to get the sweet spot, I would say. Yeah.
It's interesting in the chat, Simon Hosford, he makes a point that says it's great to hear you talking about the brown sound with your percussion and your drums. It's equally as important, he says, as Eddie's brown sound. Alex had a brown sound. It was his drum tone. And the fact you guys are sitting here
at the same time
talking about it and trying to emulate
at the same time. Yeah.
Priceless.
Because it was originally Eddie talking about Alex's snare drum. That was the brown sound. And then everyone kind of that onto Eddie's thing. Yeah.
But
Yes.
it makes sense anyways, you know, because the Brown sound just made some things that sounds very organic and woody sounding. And if you listen to Eddie's guitar as well, it's very, very organic and natural sounding. You know, there's not a lot of gain. There's distortion, but it sounds like a clean. It's very, very big and grainy and warm. You know, to me, I always say that, especially Van Halen 2 sounds like as if you plug your guitar into like a tree and you crank it up loud. It's very woody sounding, very brown sounding. That's always what I thought about, especially Van Halen 2. Like listen to Somebody Get Me a Doctor and songs like that. It's just very, very organic sounding. That
Great
first
album.
all these first 6 albums, they have a very, very brown sound on the guitar and the drums as well. Even though the term was used for the drums in the beginning, which makes sense as well because his snare sounds like a log. So that's where the term comes from. That's what he was explaining in an interview that I read. Said it sounded like a log, like he's hitting on a log.
Interesting.
With that
It's
said,
like
Jacob,
it's almost as if oh sorry. I was gonna
After
say
you, Josh.
it's almost as if like Alex's sound is like the log, and then Eddie's sound is like the lightning going through the log. The kind of lightning
That's a
strike.
great
through,
analogy.
like
Exactly. That makes
nuclear
sense.
wood kind of thing.
They have a very
Yeah.
similar
And
sound,
that's,
but on instruments.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Alex fully realized his sound until, I mean, I don't think I was. Mike Fraser said to us that who mixed Balance. He was on. We had him on, and I think he said to us, Tony, didn't he say that Alex has never even up to that, like, you know, when they did Balance, he was never 100% happy with
never.
with, you know, it's close, but
Well,
what he would
yeah.
hear, what he heard in his head, they never quite achieved. They got it close, but never quite what he really, you know, wanted to hear. But that said, it's funny that you pointed out that Fair Warning, that's when he started to use that Rosewood snare there, because that to me is the first album where you could hear Alex's voice on the snare, the way with that signature kind of bonk sound there. And then you could on Diver Down, it was more prominent. And then, like, you know, you listen to I'll Wait on 1984, and I think that's like the quintessential snare sound there, simply because he recorded it without any cymbals or any. He overdubbed all the cymbals and hi-hats on I'll Wait, so it was just a clean, you know, snare hit. You know, it's just you know, everything else is overdubbed. So that's why I think that's the perfect snare sound on that you know, example of his sound. And then, you know, 5150, I think it got lost a little bit there, especially with the Simmons and stuff like that. And OU812, because the studio, they hadn't knocked out the wall and expanded the studio yet. So that, I don't think the drum sound was great on OU812. But then obviously when Andy Johns came in on Cornell College with the new room with the high ceilings, and
it all changed.
Right. But I actually think that they thought Andy went a little bit overboard on that, you know, with the sound on there too. It was a little bit too roomy, I think, for them. Alex always said he liked a small ambient, more of a smaller ambient room. And I think on balance, I thought they did a pretty good job. You know, like when Mike Fraser mixed that. Yeah, I think the drums sound good. Although I don't think the snare, to me, the snare doesn't sound as good on balance. I like that little more of a, you know, like that. Like I said on All Wait, I think that to me is the perfect Alex snare sound on that. That's me. That's my, you know.
Yeah, it pops out. It pops out so much on Our Wait. Drop Dead Legs as well. But
exactly.
I think I agree. Like Alex, with each album you hear parts of, like, he definitely has a style of playing and a sound. But like each album, it's kind of different. You hear bits of his, like, what's in his head of he's trying to achieve. And then as you get to like Balance and then all the later tours, he's kind of got a more consistent like sound. Each thing kind of sounds the same from maybe Balance up to like the last tour they did. But I think he probably had the same thing where he was just trying to achieve this sound, but maybe the engineers had a different idea and couldn't quite get it. Whereas I think Eddie's thing was that his guitar sound was very like consistent from the first album, at least to the sixth, and then he started experimenting more with the Eventide stuff
Steven, hey dude,
more productions and all that.
Hey Leo.
Yeah, I think you know, Eddie's always that sound just, you know, after the first couple albums, you know, and Eddie hated, he said he didn't like the sound of the first album. I remember somebody recently, I was reading somewhere, and they said, "Oh, I love the sound of your guitar in the first album." And Eddie was like, "You like that?" Because he didn't really like it.
I have a hard time believing that exactly like this, like it was told, because I think it was Wolfgang who said that.
Yeah, it might have been.
But I think Eddie didn't really hate the sound as much as he would let people know. You know what I mean? I think that he hated it more from people always coming back to that sound, not really because he hated the guitar sound itself. I've never talked to Eddie. I don't know if I'm right, but I just don't understand why he would hate that sound so much. He kept it for 6 albums, and it's a fantastic,
and it's a really great tone,
great sound. And Eddie has great ears, always had a great sound. So I don't think he would really hate that sound so much as.
What's your take on the tone of his tone on the Balance album?
I think it's one of his greatest guitar sound of all time. Definitely his best sound on a Sammy album. I would think. I think the 5150 album is the best Sammy album, but I think the sound of Balance, the guitar sound, was very, very unique and something different at the time, especially coming back from the album Fuck. It was such a great improvement, and he went back to the Marshall Plexi actually on that album. I don't know if you guys know about that, but on most of the album it was recorded with the Plexi.
Yeah, you know what? I always say that there was more than one
monstrous tone,
more than one Brown sound for Eddie. You know what I mean? Because the Balance tone is so much different than the Van Halen 1 sound, but they're both amazing. You know what I mean? They're in their own way. They really are.
Production that makes it different a lot. It's definitely a lot of the production with the stereo sound and the bigger production style, drier style production. Yeah. So that plays a big role into the sound of the album and why it sounds a lot different. But to me, the Holy Grail is always those first 6 records are very, very much legendary, iconic, and something completely different, just a different animal.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Dave Roth as well on the vocals, it's just something very. There's a lot of color. It's colorful. It's just very colorful and different. It was a legendary band, I think, with DLR on the vocals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I think as well, like a lot of people when they're chasing that tone, like obviously a lot comes from the hands and the amp and the guitar and stuff. But I think a lot of people as well forget that like the studio part, they'd run it through a preamp. I think of the first album, they'd run it through 1176 compressor. Then it go through tape, and then it will go through like API EQ. So all those stuff, like everyone will be really trying to replicate the sound, but they also forget that it did go through the studio stuff, which you can get like the emulators for all that stuff online with UAD and Waves and all that.
Yeah, they're great.
But that also, it's like the thing I was talking about earlier when we listened to like AC/DC and Van Halen and Guns N' Roses, and you hear the guitar sound, you're like, hang on, this is the same amp, same playing, but then it's like there's also the extra ingredients, kind of like the icing on the cake kind of thing that you get out of the preamp, the compressor, the tape, all that stuff adds to that extra juicy sound and the tone. Like I think I remember when we did our cover of Aftershock from the Balance album. Like I remember mixing that, and we got it so close, but it was like we couldn't get any closer because it was like we hadn't really discovered all their analog emulation and how you get that saturation and that kind of drive in the sound that adds to the like the squishiness and the juicy kind of gooey tones that you get. And so I remember like trying to mix that and be like, how do they get this extra punchy kind of sound? And that would have been a lot of like the analog gear and all that. Obviously, different tones and different drums and
there's
like
some EQ stuff going on there too.
Thousands and thousands of gear. Yeah. There's like EQs and there's
what's his name? Nick Beato did a great
types
video.
Of coloring. Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Great video, and he talks about the exact frequencies that on Alex's snare, what they were punching that up there. It's a cool video.
Oh yeah, that's a cool video. I saw that. Yeah.
Although they did not get the snare sound, and I didn't think it sounded very good. I don't know.
No.
I don't
No,
think
they did the same with Eddie's tone as well, and it wasn't really close.
No, not at all. Right.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's see if they got any more questions before we let you guys go here. Let's see.
You guys are so gracious to give us this much of your time.
Yeah, dudes.
This means so much to us. Thank you, guys. My goodness, man.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. And get to North Carolina so me and Tony can make a road trip and see you guys live.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really on my list.
And we'd love to have you guys.
I was going to say my first stop. So when I went to play with Jacob the first time, the first stop that I had was actually in Charlotte because I was going to see Toto.
Yeah.
Like they hadn't. I don't think when I bought my plane tickets and we sorted out the trip and everything, they hadn't announced the Montreal show yet. So I was like, I'll do like a week. I'll visit New York, do Charlotte. I think I went somewhere else, but yeah, the first stop was in Charlotte to do the VIP.
That's where
with
I
Toto.
am. I'm in Charlotte.
That was. Oh, really? It's a beautiful city.
Yeah, you can come back anytime you want, brother.
But oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like it had such an impact on me because I'd never been to the US before. So the first time I remember I traveled like 3 days of travel and jet lag, and I remember just waking up.
So we've named the tour. Yeah. We've named the tour and we've picked the place for opening night.
The first stop.
No problem.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'd love to come back. I met some
party till you die.
Yeah, I met some
tour.
cool people as well at the sound check. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
First and last.
Excellent.
First of
excellent.
Yeah, but we'd love to have you guys back on when you got things a little more formalized for when you're going to tour Europe or whatever the tour plans are. So it would be great to have you back on then, and you could talk about that and see what else is going on. But we really
question there too after you, John. Sorry.
Quick question for Josh: who are the guitarists in the picture behind you?
Oh,
where is it?
Yeah. So wait, this one. So that one, that's Steve Vai, that one there. That's my brother. He won on the left. He'd won a competition to play with Steve Vai at one of his clinics here in Perth. That was
my goodness
2011. So I think Steve Vai does in his clinics. He has a bit where he'll play a song and he'll get like a few guitarists to come up and play a few bars of like solo and like do like a trade-off thing. So that's Steve Vai. I got to meet him at that show as well. He's a super nice guy. And then so cool. I keep getting confused with the mirror thing. And then that's Simon Phillips from Toto, and he played with The Who, Jeff Beck. He's like a super prolific session drummer. He's one of my favorites. So him and Alex are like my top two. But I actually met Simon. He did a clinic at my old high school. But it was like,
isn't Simon, Josh, isn't Simon more of a fusion? Isn't he more of a fusion drummer, Simon Phillips?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, he is now. But I mean, like in the 70s and 80s, he was like playing arena rock, stadium rock stuff.
Yes,
he's
exactly.
Just like a monster drummer. I'd say he's like, if I had to say who's like the best, it'd probably be Simon. Like Alex is my favorite. But like Simon's up there. He's just such a versatile drummer. He's got this monstrous sound. He's really unique as well. I think like Jacob and I really like gravitate towards players that you hear them play and you know it's them straight away. Like there's so many sessions I'll hear where I hear a guitarist and I'm like, that's Steve Lukather. Or you hear the drum, it's Jeff Beccaro, because all these guys played in that LA session scene. I mean, Simon was in the UK doing that session thing, but he moved to the US to join Toto. Yeah. But I think, just drummers and any kind of musician, singers as well, anyone that's just got this super unique sound that like they're really identifiable from the first listen. Like off the top of my head, I think like Stuart Copeland from The Police is super, like you hear him play, you just know it's him.
Sure.
Even someone like Jeff Beccaro, who's Toto's drummer, you hear like, because he played on so many pop albums and so many huge albums in the 70s and 80s.
That's
like
exactly
I think I think Toto was as like a collective band have played over like 10,000 albums or something. And whenever you hear it, like I'll be walking through the shops and I can hear this ripping solo or this drum beat, and I've never heard the song before. It's like some cool 70s R&B song, and I'm listening and I'm like, I bet this is like Jeff Beccari or Lukather or someone like that. And I look up I go on, bring out the Wikipedia, look at the credits, and then you see it. Yeah, there he is.
I think the solo that Lukather came up with on Hold the Line is a very short, sweet, but it's one of the most awesome solos I've ever heard. It's just it.
Oh yeah,
that's what really got me into Toto.
Oh yeah, he's an amazing guitar player. I think his greatest solo is that outro Rosanna solo when they go into the jazz.
Yeah, the jazz thing.
That's absolutely amazing. And the pop song as well, because it's a pop song and then it turns into that thing. It's just holy shit. That's
right.
The best part of the song.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think Rosanna is just like the pinnacle of pop music or that pop rock thing, because it's got everything. You've got like soulful vocals, you've got these huge harmonies, you've got a belting like tenor vocalist for the B parts of the verses. You've got like big catchy choruses, groove, bass lines, and it's got like this ripping synth solo. It's got horns, and then ripping guitar solo. It's got a little jazzy down. It's just like the perfect. It's like the pop song.
Even Justin Bieber. Even Justin Bieber ripped them off. He did. I mean, I mean it's the exact same tempo. I think it's the exact same key, and it's the exact same melody. What's his name? Beato overlaid the Toto song with Justin Bieber's, and it was literally it was like and played it at the same time. He may have sped the tempo up a little bit to match it, but it was identical. I mean, there's like, I think Lukather even said, I think we're having attorneys look into it. You know what I mean? Because it was like blatant ripoff of Toto. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, so we really appreciate having you guys on. We wish you the best of luck with the record. It's excellent. Everybody, the links are down below to the videos and stuff. Check them out. And definitely, if you I have Apple Music, and I just been playing the album in the car all week, cranking it as I'm driving to work at like 7 o'clock in the morning. You know,
awesome.
Yes,
get out. It's just a great fun. Like I said, it's not a dark album. It's more major keys. If you like Van Halen, you're gonna love it because it's upbeat. It's just
upbeat party songs.
Party music guy with a happy vibe. It's great.
Drums, aggressive guitars, vocals. Yeah. It's just a fun album. And you know what? We could all use a fun album right now, right?
You don't
absolutely,
know.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a little bit of fun for sure.
Yeah, we just really want to bring back. I suppose not bring it back, but we want to channel it into like the feel good stuff. Not taking yourself too seriously. Like a lot of like the modern stuff is all about taking yourself too seriously. Or you're like the kind of like I'm too sexy vibe, or like I'm too hot shot kind of vibe. But we're not about that. We really want to just like channel like the fun, the bombastic kind of stuff, the wild party stuff, but like also have the music at the forefront.
Sure.
But like have the catchy melodies of like the pop kind of thing, and kind of blends it all together. Just one like
got it, guys.
Frankenstrat.
Let me ask this guy something over here, Charles.
I didn't do it, Tony.
Have you got an unboxing that we didn't speak of?
I've got a bunch of stuff. I've got two unboxings from Holly Lewis still.
Isn't there a Van Halen something you were going to unbox on the show tonight?
Those are from Holly. I've got two of those, and then I've got some merch that I got for you and Dan from New Jersey at the stadium tour last night.
Okay, well, so
you want to see some Van Halen stuff?
Yeah. So you showed us something on Saturday.
I'll tell you what. Why don't I re-show the first shirt again? And I think if I get this straight, and Holly is in the chat, the two things she sent me, Tony, one of them is a large, and it's for you, if I get that correct. Now, I didn't open the other packages yet. I left everything just as it was the other night. Here's the one she sent, and this is a large.
Right on.
This is a large. And that's the shirt. One of the nicest
That's the
things I've
meaning of
ever
life.
received. And I'm humbled. And Holly Lewis is a flipping rocker. I love that girl. Anyway, so that's the shirt that she sent
Right
for
on.
you, Tony. This is yours, and it'll be coming to
Right
you.
on. Thank
And
you,
then
Holly Lewis. Thank you.
I think this one here is the duplicate of that. And then I got another one that she sent, which I think
Let's
is the
see it.
original shirt that she designed,
Let's see
Van
it.
Halen. And Jacob and Josh, we're talking about Holly Lewis in the chat, just to bring you guys current. She's an artist, and she's a singer. She's got a voice of an angel. But yes, this one here is this one's for me. This is in my size. So it's the same shirt essentially. And then thank you, Holly, by the way. Again, I can't say that enough. And this is the original shirt that I ordered, which is right here. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Holly, I love you. This is so cool. Check this out. This is fan-made Van Halen merch. And there's mysteries in those numbers you guys are looking at. This is Van Halen. This is all done with computer keyboard sign. And some of it you need to decipher. But it's all Van Halen related. And then on the back, it's got that. OhIGetItNow.com. So, Holly,
Right on.
you rock. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. Right there, girl. Right there.
Right on.
And
Awesome.
you want me to show those other shirts, Tony, real quick?
Let's wait. We'll wait to Saturday and we'll talk all about
Sounds good.
that. Yeah, that was
Very
a great
cool.
show.
Very cool. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yes, thank you, Holly.
Awesome.
Yeah, but to put that on the back of a shirt, man, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. That's best looking Van Halen shirt I've seen.
Yeah,
a long time.
I will rock it proudly. Absolutely.
Me too. Absolutely.
So everybody subscribe to Josh and Jacob's YouTube channel.
That's a given, man. That's a given, bro.
So that link down below the Facebook page, you can find links to get the album there.
Yep.
Trust me, this is one that you want. We've told you about albums before, the new Dirty Honey. This is one you want. Trust me.
Yes.
Get it.
Buy it.
Go to the link. Find your way in there. A lot of cool stuff on the page too. But
definitely
get the album. Listen to what's there. You're gonna dig it. So.
Oh, hey, you guys have merch? You guys have merch, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on my website. So derapsofficial.com.
Thank you.
All the merch is on derapsofficial.com. Yeah.
That shirt you're wearing, you can probably get on there, I'm assuming, right?
No, that one was from that's actually the first shirt I ever got made with the logo on it by a local company here. So it's different.
Need that logo on a hat.
Yeah,
I don't see a hat.
Yeah, I don't think there's hats right now. I got to check out. Maybe it's available, but
there's a bunch of different. There's shirts of various hoodies.
Long
sleeve, short sleeve, tank tops.
There's
black tank tops, white tank tops.
Beer pints as well. There's so much stuff with different logos as well from different songs. So My Side of Town, Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. I've got Veins in My Heart T-shirts as well. So check out Deraps.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right on, dude.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you're able to hear Veins of My Heart if you click down, and a lot of you probably already did, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So right on. So dudes, thanks for being Josh.
Rock.
Thanks for joining in.
Yes.
Yes.
Jacob,
Joining us on the show.
thank you so much, bro, for being here. This has been
Thank
so
you.
much fun tonight.
And we'll be talking up the album in the coming weeks, and congratulations on it, guys. And we look forward to hearing what's next when you guys are going to be playing live. So
yeah,
hopefully we'll talk to you guys again.
Awesome.
Stories from the road. Can't
Yeah,
wait.
for sure.
Can't
Thank you.
wait.
Can't wait.
Start Charlotte, North Carolina.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The
And I'll see you in
For
New
Party
York.
Till You
New York.
Die tour.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Thanks, boys.
Go Charlotte,
Awesome.
North.
Have a great
ya.
night.
Be well.
All right, guys. We're going to call it a night. Everybody, thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs up. Subscribe here if you're not. Subscribe to Deraps on YouTube. If you're not, you already are subscribed to both, I'm sure. Thank you for that.
Get the album. Pick up
Get
the album.
This is one you want. So
Great summertime album. Summer's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
You'll enjoy it. We've enjoyed this time. Everybody have a great week. Have a good weekend coming up, July 4th. Let's see. Let's just see what's on the calendar before we stroll away here. Oh, where is it at? All right. Bear with me. I got it. All right. So Saturday, we're going to celebrate the 4th and Canada Day on Show Me Your Pick. We do another show on Saturday, and this Saturday on Show Me Your Pick, we're having 2 special guests. Ben and Amanda Coombs are going to join us. That's going to be fun.
I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
A lot of stuff to show, a lot of new stuff, a lot of stadium tour talk, merch. I got guitar picks from the stadium tour.
Nice.
Yeah, already.
Nice.
So, yeah, a lot of fun happening this Saturday. Tune in 9 p.m. Show Me Your Pick. Me and these cool cats right there. Jacob, Josh, once again, guys, thank you so much. You guys rock.
Very cool. Very cool.
Fun. I'll see you next time.
All right. And we're going to do a part 2. We're out of here for now. Any last words there, Charles Greene?
Hey, guys, this is Halenville, and just don't forget, it doesn't matter if you go north, south, east, or west. Every single road leads straight to Van Halen. Guys, have a great week. Be well.
That's right.
And take care of one another. And Deraps' new album is kick ass. We'll see you guys later. Have a great one. Be well. Rock on.